Line up, you fucking nerds. Who wants a shot at the champ?
They bring the heat.
Francis Ngannou is the hardest puncher in the history of fighting.
They bring the knowledge.
If you think this fight is going 5 rounds, you are out of your mind.
They bring you the picks.
The dog is getting it done in this one.
We deliver every single week. We're bringing the heat, ladies and gentlemen.
The money line.
Don't miss it on the MMA Experts channel each week. The Money Line. We are live. I am here with my guy, Mike Finch. What's up, bro?
Doing good, AJ. Enjoying my time over here in Huntington. And man, I'm excited for these fights, dude. We got some solid fist fights for a free card.
I think they're going to be really good. It's an incredible undercard for the cherry on top main event. I think is a good fight, but just like name value wise is a little bit lacking. But I like the fight a lot. I think we're going to be in store for good action. I think there's going to be some finishes on this card. You guys will be loving this fucking shit, man. I'll be live for it too, doing the fight companion.
Original main event fell out, right?
I'm 85% sure this was the original main event throughout it all, but I will double check this.
I thought, what fight were they trying to
make? Oh, no,
it's
Cannonier Strickland. Yes. Cannonier Strickland. That was the main event.
Thank you. I knew somebody in the comments was going to kill us if we didn't know that. Okay. So Cannonier Strickland. Okay. That would have been fun. Come on. That's just the matchup you got to see live. That shit's like, okay, a fist fight's going to go down when Cannonier and Strickland get in the cage. However, a lot of these are good. And we're going to have the training partner of Brandon Royval on the podcast today. One of his top training partners. I mean, these guys work out every day. So it'll be cool to ask, where he's at. And Brandon Royval is a fun prospect. That's a fun fight with Askar Askarov. So coming up in like 10 minutes, guys. Good to see everybody.
Sweet. I love it too. And I love that the names are very close between opponent and training partner. So this is going to be good shit, man.
Hey, Bufo on the Beat has a very important question.
Bufo on the Beat. First thing I want to know tonight is what Finch puts on his burger. Like Finch, bro. Give him your order, bro. If you're going to I don't know, In-N-Out Burger or something like that.
I'm glad you asked In-N-Out, because if you guys go to In-N-Out, which is very overrated, you're going to want to get animal style. They'll put like the caramelized onions on it. Trust me, if you're going to In-N-Out, it's the hidden menu, animal style.
Dude, I got animal style. I want to tell you something about this animal style. I got animal style. It was in Colorado, though. I'm going to say it wasn't in Cali, so we got to give him a little respect.
In-N-Out in Colorado?
Bro, it was not what I was expecting. I don't know. Like, I kind of felt like, I don't even think that's really animal style. I just feel like they put extra special sauce on it. Like, I don't think there was caramelized onions. Like, it's almost like when I said animal style, like maybe it didn't exist there or something. I don't know, man. I don't know.
This is exactly why they're trying to keep it to just California with In-N-Out, because they're going to lose the quality. They go big. This line is always around the block over here at In-N-Out. People love that shit. I don't know why. You guys got Raising Cane's out there? Because I'll go Raising Cane's all day over an In-N-Out burger.
I will be honest with you. There's one probably like a little bit over an hour from me, so I haven't drove to get the Raising Cane's, Finch. I haven't, so I don't know. The hype seems real. The Cali folks be telling me to get on it, bro.
It's incredible. Raising Cane's sauce. I mean, they murdered it. So absolutely 100% all in on Raising Cane's. In-N-Out, I mean, if you're in California, swing through one for sure. But I was like, it was my bachelor party. I had all my dudes. We rented a car. We're having fun. We're like, we're gonna stop by In-N-Out. None of us have ever had it. Bah! It flopped, bro. It was not. You definitely want to set the bar a little higher than In-N-Out. I don't know if you're in Huntington Beach, TK Burger. How about that for a plug? There you go.
TK Burger. Listen, shout out to him if you're in Huntington Beach.
Shout out.
Get yourself a better burger than In-N-Out from Mike Finch himself. I trust your opinion. And when I had In-N-Out, I was underwhelmed, bro. They said I remember there's this dude. He lived. I think he lived in maybe Cali for a while, West Coast guy, but he was from my area originally. A kid I knew from high school, bro. Comes back to visit. It's way better than Five Guys. It's the best fucking burger you're ever gonna have. I go and I have it. And I'm like, dude, I think Wendy's is a little bit like a little better.
Don't do them like that. Although I'm made out of Wendy's, bro. I work in Chicago. I drove past Wendy's every day. I gotta say, Wendy's chicken nuggets. I think that's my whole left arm or something. You know what I'm saying? But look, I'm from Chicago, so you want good food? I give you the spots: Pequod's Pizza in Chicago, Maxwell Street for a Polish sausage. Bellator is going to be in Chicago on November 18th. That's the card when Patricky Pitbull's defending the title against Usman Nurmagomedov. If you guys want to come out to that card, hit me up, DM me, Mike Finch MMA on Instagram. I will let you guys know where to go eat because Chicago has the best food in the world.
Let's go. I'll be honest, man. I've never been to Chicago, but I heard some good things about the pizza, just overall the food in general, pretty solid. So it's good to hear it from the Finch man himself, man. You get me excited to go try it. I thought, like, bro, I feel like the hype is like, is Cali food is it overrated? Is it underrated? Like, where's that at? Because I feel like people hype up Cali food a lot.
People are going to kill me for this, bro. They're going to kill me for this. I say this to California people all the time. They're like, no, this place is good. That place is good. I'm like, you guys don't know what food is supposed to taste like. These people are used to eating fucking cardboard pizza out here in California. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Chicago, everything is bigger, more sauce. It's the ingredients you can taste, man. Everything is bland out here. So as far as Orange County, lacking. Unless you're trying to pay big money, like you know, shout out to, you know, the Japanese places that cook in front of you down here. What is it? Shabu on Fire. There we go. I'm really plugging Huntington Beach Main Street right now.
When I'm going to Huntington Beach, these are the spots I'm going to hit up, bro.
I got you.
Man.
See, Boof on the Beat again. Tacos in California are the best. For whatever reason, they're not. For whatever reason, they don't make it as good as they did in Round Lake Beach, you know, Illinois, some random suburb of Chicago. I get the carne asada tacos. I was just talking about it to my dad today. It's like, for whatever reason, we're missing the food out here. But maybe I'm biased. I came from Chicago. Maybe where you live, your food sucks too. You don't even know what I'm talking about. So if you want to treat yourself, I got the list. Come through November. And hey, AJ's never been to a Bellator event. This would be a good time.
Listen, Mike Finch, I'll be real with you, man. If there's a way that we can get me out there, if we can get me inside of the event, that's the week after my birthday, I would be hype on going. I would probably, my goal would be to fly in maybe like, I don't know, dude, Friday morning maybe, and then get there, eat some food, chill for a bit. Because Saturday I got a fight companion, so I'd want to fly home Saturday morning. I'm going to get the, like, I don't know, maybe 8 a.m. flight and then get back to Tampa for the fight companion.
Easy. Yeah, Bellator pays for the hotel room. I'll ask for 2 separate beds. Come through, bro. I got you. You got to fly yourself out now. But I'll get you in as media. You could sit cage side with me, interview the fighters.
This sounds pretty sick, man.
Are we doing this?
Dude, we'll talk off air, but I like the idea, man. I like the idea.
You guys just saw that all live. I'm serious, crazy. Just so you know.
No, I know you are. I can tell, bro. That'd be pretty fucking wild, dude. I'm like a guy that doesn't like to travel, bro. These guys are right in here. You know what I'm saying? It's more, I guess.
AJ's got a hurricane coming for him. He stays home.
I stayed home. I said, bro, I'm not going anywhere. I'll defend the ground. You know what I'm saying? What did Bryce Mitchell say, bro? I'll put my boots in the ground and I'll defend.
Listen, man. I'll fight somebody in a cage, but a hurricane, you can't. What are you gonna do, bro? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna defend against the hurricane, AJ? You're gonna sprawl?
Honest, bro, I guess I just live in a good area, so I wasn't really like as worried. I will say I'm biased. I'm not right by the beach or anything like that.
You didn't get hit hard, so I guess you did the right thing. Fair enough. Yeah. If hurricane's coming for me, peace. I'll be back in Chicago with staying at the mom's. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair, bro. Fair. No, that was my experience with like the first hurricane I ever encountered. We disappeared. We come back. Only thing bad was there was power out, and that was what was it, like I think 3, 4, it might be 5 years ago now. The first one that ever really hit in a long time, bro. I don't even remember the name. It's not hitting me, bro.
Yeah, you're safe where you're at. You were all good, man. As long as your house isn't getting carried away, you're all good. We had some people from Bellator who live in Florida. MJ, shout out to MJ. He had to stay home and defend the crib too. I get it. We're glad you're safe.
Yeah, listen, bro, I appreciate it. And we got Bufo is just dropping like these W comments here. AJ's at home. Sharpening his up. You're right, bro. I was getting ready, bro.
He was training for the hurricane, but I don't know, footwork. Like, what do you need against the hurricane? You know what I'm saying? A boat.
The sharp elbows help you strike the wind, bro. You can fight through it, man. Yeah, man.
You're gonna be like that reporter who was pretending it was windy. I remember people who walked right past behind him. Did you see that video?
Yeah.
He's like, it's brutal out here. Somebody's like getting groceries, walking out with their bananas behind them.
Well, I'll be honest with you. When I saw that, I'm like, dude, I can't really trust the weather again. I can't trust any of the weather channels now.
Right?
Which is another reason I stayed home too.
Any of that. Anytime people say it's the 5 o'clock news and we're gonna, you don't talk like that, motherfucker. What is this voice? What game are we playing? Are you in character? Get out of character. What do you actually like? You know. So when I started doing commentary, I did a little bit of the broadcasting voice, but you know, I'm not the main brain Vince Fontaine from Greece. Like we don't have to do radio show style. Like it's 2022. Just be yourself. I don't trust anybody who speaks to me like they're hosting the 5 o'clock news. That's full of shit.
Yeah, that's funny as shit, man. This is the money line. We are going to give our full card predictions for each of the matchups. Yes, this is going to be a great card, lad.
I'm like, what are you? Are you a corporation? Like, why are you speaking like this? You know, are you a walking commercial? I don't understand.
I don't get it either, bro. I don't know, man. I think there's got to be somebody that starts a YouTube channel based on the weather. This might already exist, bro. Somebody doing YouTube based on the weather and takes a casual take to it. Accurate readings with a chill vibe.
Yelling at my wife, bro. 100%. And you should do it, AJ, because when I was at the last Bellator, it was a social media conference. Mr. Beast was there, and you know, Liver King was there. I mean, you know, so when we did that conference, when I'm in the hotel for that conference, guy gets in the elevator with me. He goes, I like to just start new YouTube channels just to go from zero and get all the way to monetized. I'm looking at him like, are you crazy? It is so hard to run one channel. This guy's probably got 10. I don't know what these people. AJ posts a lot more content than me, so maybe you've got it in you, AJ. For me, one channel, bro.
Fair. Listen, AJ's weather channel might be the next installment, but we got a guest that's in the house. I got to bring him in.
Let's go.
Let's go, champ. Let's bring him in.
All eyes on me.
My guy.
What's up, guys?
What's up? Askar in the house. Good to see you, buddy.
See you too, baby. How are you, Mike?
Can't complain, man. How are you? Look at the UFC logo on you. It looks good on you, bro.
You know, I've been in the corner a few times this year, so I got a few of these now.
That's sick. Dude,
they hook you guys up with like a pack. What, when you corner somebody, they give you a duffel bag?
Every single time, bro. I started giving them out to a few of the guys because I didn't want to be greedy with it.
Good man. Good man. AJ, I think he's got my address. I don't know. Maybe
he should definitely chip you one, Mike. Right?
I need to see I got you.
Let's go.
My man. I got your brother on my shirt. I should have wore it. Asif Askar, his brother, gave me his shirt. He's like a cartoon character. So I need one for each brother, bro. Hook it up.
I got to get shirts made. I got to get shirts made for the next fight, probably.
Of course. We got the LFA headliner. I mean, you are the most experienced of the three brothers. For people who don't know, the Askar brothers are not one, not two, but three fighting brothers, all pro fighters, all beasts. I mean, you guys are absolute savages, some of the best fighters in the freaking world. How are you guys not like got 30 for 30s on you yet? Like, I mean, you guys are just getting started, I know, but man, it's such an interesting story.
Yeah, for now we're building the story for that. You know, we're in the grit and grind of it daily, so we could have those and they can shine eventually.
What's the opponent coming up for you now?
I got November 18th for LFA against Ricky Ferrar. I think is his name. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He fought for LFA a couple times. He just beat that kid that Adrian Yan's knocked out on the Contender Series. Oh shit! He got a win over him, so he's coming off 2 nice wins. So he got a little bit of momentum. So I feel like that's a good matchup for us to fight now. You know.
Yeah, I like that, man. It's definitely a lot of potential to get inside of the UFC. I got to ask you, because nowadays with the Contender Series kind of taking over, what if they said, "Hey, bro, do you want to be on the Ultimate Fighter?" What do you say to that?
I mean, I had the opportunity to do that. I had the opportunity to do that twice, actually. I had it once was for the 145 season.
Okay.
I was the undefeated season. I was going to be an alternate. I was an alternate, and then they ended up not needing me. And then they hit me up, and they're like, yo, we're going to do a 35 season. But that's when they called me up to the UFC. Okay. You know what I mean? And they're like, you're going to fight in February. And then the fight didn't happen. And then, you know, everything was just fucking a little bit of a roller coaster after that. You know, but
I remember when that went down, bro. Can you give us any insight on why that happened?
Yeah, I honestly, I've given it, a few detailed interviews before, but just the overview is I did a test fight week, and I think because I took the fight on a week's notice. When I went down to Vegas, they put me through the ringer in terms of like testing and all that stuff, and I had to get blood work, eye exam, heart exams, you know what I mean, EKG, all that stuff within like a 2-3 day period while I was cutting weight. And the heart doctor was just taking a long time. I remember it was just taking a long time looking over some stuff. And long story short, they're like, we found some like some weird findings in the results that we have to retest you, and we didn't have enough time to retest before the fight, you know. So I got back home to Chicago, retested, and everything was fine. You know what I mean? So it could have been that when they tested me that day at in that Vegas hospital, maybe the lady was rushing, maybe I was cutting weight and I was a little fucked up, because the last thing you want to do is get a heart exam while you're fight week. Who's doing that? Yeah, it's like if it was 2 weeks notice, 8 weeks even 8 days. It was literally less than 6 days. It was that Friday they called me, and then Tuesday I was flying out. And as soon as you get the fight, you're like, I gotta start getting my weight down, make sure I'm in the right range or whatever. But yeah, it wasn't my time, and it's all good. I'm just able to build off that experience and that moment, and being able to go through the UFC landscape with that week, and feel it out. And now I know what they expect next time, especially being out with a few of the guys that are here, being there with them fight week, gave me that experience too.
So absolutely, man. No, that's I think that's just an unfortunate situation, but like you said, man, we push forward and keep going. Because, bro, if you're first thing fight week, I can't imagine just the overall anxiety around the situation. You probably just have an elevated heart rate normally throughout the whole week, and then you're cutting weight on top of it. I just think that it's weird that they would do that as the base scan and then release you straight off. That's just odd, man. That's odd. But I look forward to getting you back to the UFC, man, because it's on the horizon soon.
And but to build on that, AJ, at the same time, they did release me, but they gave me a deal with LFA, and they told me one fight and you're back in. One fight and you're back in. And I took that fight with that Justin Wetzel kid, and I just mentally, physically, emotionally, everything, I wasn't there for that, and just the training I was doing wasn't up to par on that level, and it showed, and I ended up taking an L. And I feel like it was all a blessing in disguise at the end of the day, because I don't want to go to the UFC and start taking L's. I'm going to take my L's out here, so when I get on there, I'm going to try to build an undefeated record in that motherfucker,
That's beautiful, man. Yeah, and you look at the champion right now. I mean, I guess people's champ, Charles Oliveira. Look at the start. Look at the amount of losses he compiled throughout his early run, and look at him now, the success. So absolutely, man. I think that there's kind of this weird fan base that really judges a loss more so. Personally, I look as learn. Loss is learn. You look at Khabib 29-0, so it kind of sold this, you can be perfect, but they forget that he had 14 fights against guys that weren't caliber and shit like that.
Yeah, everybody's different. Obviously, Khabib's a special case, but I mean, look at Islam. Islam's supposed to be better than Khabib, and he's got an L. Right. It's like it is what it is. People that don't fight really don't know that being a fighter it's in the name. It's about fucking facing adversity and going through it. So when they're like, it's not. We're not just called undefeated guys, we're called fighters for a reason, So we have to be able to get through that adversity, through our fighting, through our life, through anything, Well,
absolutely, and that's this sport, guys. It's not like boxing where you fight a bunch of guys who do not have records that look like yours. Askar, you fight tons of tough fights, and you've beaten tons of tough guys. Like I said, you've headlined multiple LFAs. You take tough fights constantly, even in HFC. I mean, you fight the best of the best constantly. All right, so some people don't know. You've been fighting since 2013, bro. You've been fighting a long time, almost as long as me. No, I don't fight anymore.
I've been digging that hole for a minute, huh? When did you start? You started in 2011, 2012, no? Or even
2011.
Sooner? Yeah, 2011, yeah. I remember checking a few of my boy Mike's fights on YouTube. They were sick.
Let's go. He's preparing for me for when we roll in the gym. Hey, I tell people all the time about your brother Asif, but I'll say the same thing about you. When I've had the pleasure of rolling with Askar, they are so heavy on top, AJ. When these brothers are rolling with you, I mean, specifically Asif for whatever reason, but you guys all are heavy on top.
Listen, I don't give a fuck. He hasn't been training for a minute, because he's been dealing with a few injuries. But that guy, if he gets on top, you're gonna go in his darts every time.
You might as well have put a railroad tie with some nails on top of me, because it's over. He parks a tank on top of you. And AJ, this dude fights at 145. So all these brothers have that.
His mentality. He doesn't let nobody fucking in his way. He runs through it.
Let's go. Yeah, that Jacare Souza prime top pressure, man. That type of pressure.
Bro. Khabib, bro.
He's gonna walk you into the submission, and he's gonna tell you what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, this is what I'm gonna sub you with, and he's gonna put you in it.
He saw me throwing some kicks and we started touch sparring. If you throw a kick first on Asif, he's just gonna walk you the fuck down, bro. Asif does not. Very confident individual, man. So back to my question, Askar. You started fighting in 2013. What are you still able to learn at this stage in your career? Because now you're in Colorado, you're living with your brother Motaz. You guys are training out there full time, taking it serious. What evolutions are you going through now in your game?
I mean, I feel like the biggest difference now is the training partners. You know what I mean? The training partners and the high level coaching. Obviously, Mark Montoya, the man's a different level of genius with the MMA game. But just having partners like Yusuf, Jonathan Martinez, Brandon Royval, Chris Gutierrez, Alex Hernandez, we were just rolling right now. So it's like, just that high caliber of just heat, because I feel like before I had all the skills and attributes and all that stuff and all the training, but the partners weren't as high level. I was, especially with the coronavirus, fucking everybody's, shit up in terms of that. So it's like I was training with amateurs for a little bit, and it didn't help my, the hardening of the game. It's just like they say that it gets hot in the kitchen. You either stay in and you're able to deal with it, or you got to walk out. So I feel like at Factory X, we create that heat every week. So when I walk into that cage, and I feel like it's been shown in the last few fights I had, the heat of the cage doesn't even faze me anymore. It used to be, obviously, I've had a few big fights. I've fought 5 rounds before, and it's like those moments, it gets hot and heavy in that cage, and the doubts start creeping in your mind. But here, you get to go through that every week, day in and day out. So, when I get back in that cage, it's just easy money for me.
Perfect, man. Hey, he said it. He already dropped the name, AJ. We got to go through it now. Your boy, Brandon Royval, has got a big fight on his hands. We thought he was fighting you, bro. Askar Askar.
Don't even start me, bro. All these motherfuckers been joking nonstop this whole camp. They've been calling me Askarov for the last couple of weeks. But I'm like, I'm fine with that. I'm like, listen, I was able to give my boy a few rounds leading up to this fight, and try my best to mimic that little Russian motherfucker, and I feel like I'm a better version. So, and I remember when I did get signed to the UFC the few days, everybody's like, we need them to fight. We need them to fight. I'm like, listen, I'm too big for that, motherfucker. You don't want us to fight. He struggles to make 25, but he's a tiny dude. I saw him at Chris Gutierrez fought that Mongolian dude that day. I was there cornering. He fought Kai France, so I was able to watch that fight live. Yep. And he was in the same corner as us. And it's just I feel like that dude's he's a little dude, and I feel like when they get in that cage Saturday night, he's not going to realize how much bigger Brandon is than him. Brandon's got the range. Brandon's got a crazy-ass fast jab, nice, long, stiff, long jab. And I feel like it's going to be a lot of trouble for that guy to even enter on the hips,
Well, I think that's the strategy, obviously, for Askar Askarov. Maybe you disagree, AJ, but I think Askar Askarov is going to try to get a hold of him, drag him onto the ground, and then just immobilize him. There was a recent interview with John Danaher on Lex Friedman's podcast. Free plug for Lex. I like his podcast. And John Danaher, who I consider the best jiu-jitsu coach in the world, said there's 2 styles of jiu-jitsu. One style is where you move around and you create opportunities through your movement. That's Brandon Royval. The other style is where you inhibit movement. You pin your opponent to the ground, Khabib style, right? Islam style. I think that's a perfect way to describe this matchup. And Askar, you tell me if I'm wrong. Brandon Royval needs to not be pinned. His hips can't be flat on that canvas. His shoulders can't be flat on that canvas, because that's where Askar Askarov lives. What Brandon Royval needs is a more wild fight. Am I wrong?
110%. 110%. I don't see any possible way of that kid pinning Brandon Royval's hips down. I've been trying to pin Brandon's hips down for the last couple of weeks. A few of the guys, Jonathan Martinez, Chris Gutierrez, even Yusuf, we've been trying to pin his hips down. He's been getting the looks, and we're all bigger dudes, and this guy does not settle. I'm telling you, Brandon Royval does not settle in one position. Unless he wants to be there, he's not letting you settle him. I don't think this guy's going to even be able to penetrate, but even if he gets on top, the danger of the jiu-jitsu off his back, not a lot of guys Askar fought have that like slick jiu-jitsu off their back. Royval has that, has those guillotines, has those triangles, the arm bars. I mean, he was able to submit Kai France with the guillotine, So right. It's like if Askar gets on, he can get on top. If he's not careful, if he doesn't keep himself in the right position, he's gonna get his neck taken.
It's a good fight, AJ. It's a fun fucking matchup for the co-main event.
Bro, it's an intriguing, it's an intense matchup. Bro, unfortunately, bro, I've been picking against Royval throughout the week, but I will say, the way you're selling it to me, though, I mean, you all get me a little bit worried. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm telling you, bro.
I definitely agree. The chaos side of Royval. Like he definitely could land strikes. I think that Askarov's not going to be able to do. I think with Askarov, what I'm kind of seeing is even just a lot of clinching, man. I see him more needing to grind the win, and then I think Royval more likely for the finish on the other side.
Of course.
Yeah, you're probably right, but I mean, Royval can keep that pace for 15 minutes. We seen Askar slow down. You know, we seen him gas. This is the first real guy that he's fighting that relies mainly on his gas tank. Like even Pantoja doesn't rely on his gas tank. He relies more on his power. You know what I mean? More on his catch submissions. You know, try to catch a sub. But Royval's not like that. Royval's gonna be in your face the whole time, jabbing you up, keeping you up, walking you into knees if your head gets too low. And I'm telling you, when they stand next to each other, Askar's going to be up to like his chest line. And then if he gets on top, he's not going to settle and he's going to be able to put him in submissions. I honestly, I got it at submission in the second or third round.
Okay. I like it, bro.
That's my pick.
I like it. I like it. And it's big. It's dog money too, bro. Let me
big dog money
too.
Yeah, dude. Club and sub. What do you think? Royval smacks him up on the feet a little bit?
I think he smacks him up on the feet. And by the second or third round, if Askar's still up, he's gonna sub him. He's going to walk into a sub. He's going to tie him up, take his neck. I say he takes his neck with a ghillie specifically.
Plus 190 money line. Win by submission for Royval is sitting at shit, man. It's upwards of plus 600 at the highest, but it's around the plus 465 range.
Wow, that's too wide. He's
wide.
Good. His jiu-jitsu is solid, man.
So he's going to walk him into a sub. That kid's he's going to walk into a sub.
Man,
this is the tallest dude this kid's gonna fight. This is one of the lankiest, you know what I mean? Honestly, best cardio. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Royval got the best cardio in the flyweight division. The man does not get tired. And it doesn't matter if you're bigger than him and you get on top of him, hold him down, he does not get tired. He's gonna spring back up to his feet and either teep you up, knee you, jab you up, and then walk you into a nice little choke.
I like it, bro. I like the pick. Dude. I like dude. You got me more excited for the fight than ever, man. Now, I guess I'm excited as motherfucker too. I kind of want to jump a little bit just to get your pick, though. I got to ask the UFC 280 big picks. Like, I have to know. I know we're kind of talking UFC Vegas 62, but let's jump ahead.
He's a huge fan. He'll do anything.
Let's go. Let's go. But let's go from feature bout of the night to main event. We'll start. We'll go O'Malley versus Jan. Who do you like and why?
Peter Yan all day, bro. Come on. I'm like, listen, I get O'Malley with the thing, but it's like if you at the end of the day, O'Malley, I feel like his best attribute is size. He's a long, annoying motherfucking dude. And yeah, he knocked a few guys out, you know, a lot of guys that were past their prime, but at the end of the day, his skill isn't defined. The kid leaves his chin up, he teeps and stumbles, he loses balance, you know what I mean? He has a lot of like holes in his technique, you know, and then obviously he's out there grinding at the MMA lab or whatever, but like you can see some of the sparring videos, he's sparring like fucking, you know, like almost nobody's. Like he's not even sparring UFC caliber dudes. He's sparring his like boys and you know some guy mimicking Peter Yan, like, and he's not even a UFC fighter or that caliber of fighter. And I don't know. I just feel like Peter Yan's too tight, too technical, too composed. A lot of guys have different theories in terms of like, oh, O'Malley's gonna come out hot and try to steal the first round or 2 rounds. It's like but he's not gonna let him do that, bro. It's 3 rounds, 15 minutes, and Peter's too composed, way too composed. And O'Malley's gonna end up, you know what I mean, having a reason where he's either going to gas out late and then Peter Yan's going to pick it up on him, or he's going to just realize that off the bat that Peter Yan just has way cleaner technique than him. He's going to end up clipping him.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like
that.
You know?
So I got Peter Yan all day.
I like it. Mike Finch. You got anything on that? What do you think?
It's just there's a like you said, how you love that Brandon Royval is going to tower over Askar Askarov. It's the same problem. It's like Piotr just needs to close that gap. If he can close that gap, he's better everywhere else. But if he's at range, at the boxing gym here, they call it green zone. If he's in the green zone outside of the pocket, O'Malley's hands are sick, bro. If O'Malley starts putting some combos on him, but I like what Henry Cejudo said. Henry Cejudo did a breakdown, and he's like, all O'Malley has is those hands. You start kicking him, he's got problems. You wrestle him, he's got problems. Piotr Yan's better in too many other areas. I agree.
It's the truth, but I don't think Peter Yan's not going to shoot the takedown like Askarov is. You know, Askarov's looking to take him down. Peter Yan's going to try to get in the pocket and box him up. But we've seen Peter Yan versus Corey Sandhagen. He started implementing the spins to cover that distance. You know what I mean? Every time Corey Sandhagen was a little far, he would spin, and he was able to knock him down with a spin. So I feel like Peter is going to implement a similar game plan to this. And this time he doesn't have to go 25 minutes. He's going 15 minutes with a dude that's not as skilled as Corey Sandhagen, you know? Similar size, similar height. And he was able to close the distance with spinning techniques, which were beautiful, you know? And then the switch stance, obviously. That's the good thing about Peter is people don't understand. I feel like he's one of the few guys in the UFC that I love that he does this is he covers distance with the switch stance. You know, that's something I feel like in the next couple of years is going to be the thing in MMA where guys cover distance by switching their stance instead of like, you know what I mean, trying to use your footwork to cover the distance, or your the clinch to cover the distance. You switch your stance, and you're already 2 steps ahead without having to step your feet.
Right. So you keep the lead foot planted, you bring the rear one to the front. Pat Curran used to call that a J turn.
There you go, yeah.
A J turn, but he always told me to J turn back. But Pat Curran's very conservative, so of course that's a different style. Look, give me. Just say yes. Sugar Sean has good hands. Come on,
no,
better than Corey Sandhagen.
No, come on. What? Are you crazy?
Sugar Sean would box the fuck out of Corey Sandhagen.
You're crazy. Listen. I'm about to book a flight to Cali right now.
What are you talking about, bro?
Talking about, dude.
Corey Sandhagen's got a nice jump knee. He's got some good distance. He's got a little Dominic Cruz in his style. He
had good boxing against Chris walking punch bag Matoya, bro. Come on, bro. Don't tell me I'm gonna go box that kid up. Come on.
Don't you like that Chris head movement,
bro? Come on, who's he boxing up? He's fucking boxing up, huh?
We'll add that a Mutino call out too. Let's get
I'll fight that dude. Why not? Let's go. He's at the UFC. I know he's looking for a fight. Why not?
Yeah, let's go.
I'm down, bro. But yeah, that's what it is, bro. It's at the end of the day. It's listen. There's no lies in the cage, bro. You could watch that and you could see that. At the end of the day, Sean, don't get me wrong, he's good, but it's like the Pedro Munoz fight didn't show us nothing. It showed us that he was. He checked a few low kicks. Good job, G. You should have been doing that since your second pro fight, not in the UFC after 4 fights after getting TKO to a low kick. But I get it. But I mean, at the end of the day, I don't feel like he's that kind of level. I feel like it's all about hype with him. You know what I mean? My boy's too busy making videos and smoking pot and all that stuff. So it's like, and my boy Peter Yan's in Thailand just putting in work, digging a hole, and then he's gonna bury Sean O'Malley in it.
Let's go. I like the confidence, bro.
Telling you, bro.
Cut that
in your eyes. I think Askar wants a piece of O'Malley down the line. You know, so I can feel it.
Eventually, bro. Trust me, eventually.
By the way, in the live chat, they're all agreeing with you. They disagree with me. Mr. Savage, level 9,000. Travis M. I mean, they're calling me crazy as fuck. Travis says, Mike, you are a smart man, but Sandhagen would win that. Come on. All I'm saying is that O'Malley's got some slick hands. I've heard Oscar's take, so we'll jump off of it. Next fight, good fight on that card. AJ, hit him with it.
It's the co-main event. It is Aljo versus TJ Dillashaw, the snake in the grass Dillashaw, as they call him. I'm tough.
Mr. EPO.
Oh shit! I talked to one of his training partners who trains at UFC Gym Huntington Beach. He was telling me how fucked up it was that TJ Dillashaw was in the gym on EPO sparring him. He's like, bro, I've got my brain was bouncing around in my skull, and this guy doesn't get tired. Turns out there's a reason for that. You know what I'm saying? So he was like mad about it.
Yeah, if I knew one of the guys I was sparring was doing that shit, I'd probably try to find him and jump his bitch ass. But I don't know, dude.
I do it.
Now the pick between TJ and Aljo, the pick between Aljo and TJ, I think TJ is gonna get that one. You know, man. I feel like if you have just as good as wrestling as Aljo, what's he really gonna do against you? You know, his hands. Listen, he got the same hands as Sean O'Malley. That's why he thinks Sean O'Malley is going to come up there so quick. The champ is worried about number 15, bro. You're worried about a guy that's fucking more focused about smoking pot and playing video games online, bro. Focus on the top of five of the division, you know? Honestly, I listen, no hate to Aljo, but honestly, having him as the champ at bantamweight, sometimes I'm like, man, it's insane because he's not the highest skilled dude in that division.
Agreed.
I was looking over his record the last couple of days and just looking at the fights and stuff. And, Mike, I got nothing better to do in my life but, stalk these guys. But just looking at his record and I'm like, bro, this guy, he just got blessed, especially with the Corey Sandhagen fight, because I feel like Corey wasn't himself. He let that dude just get behind him and choke him right away. And that kind of elevated him. And then obviously the first Peter Yan fight, and then the second one fight, don't even start with me. I don't care. Peter Yan won that 3-2. He won the first round. I'll give Aljo the 2 and 3, but he did not win the first round. But skill for skill, TJ's way above that guy.
It was the body triangle in that fight. For whatever reason, Piotr Yan didn't even try to get out of the body triangle. Piotr, are you listening? Wherever the lock is, you put your hip on that side. You get the foot on the inside of your legs. There's a simple mathematical way to get out of that. He didn't even try, Oscar.
Listen, I swear to God, we watched the fight earlier in the week because, the UFC gives them out, for free on YouTube. So as soon as you stumble on it, you're like, why not? Let's watch it. We rewatched it. I wanted to literally go to my jiu-jitsu coach here and record some videos and try to DM it to him and be like, bro, this is how you do this. I'm like, you're a fucking legend on the feet, but this is how you do this.
He didn't even know how to get. It was like he'd never seen a body triangle. Anyway, I thought the same thing. So that's interesting. I was yelling at my TV.
Yeah, I can't stand him. I wish he beat Aljo, but yeah, I got TJ all day. I think either TJ by decision or TJ by late finish. He'll end up clinking Aljo in the head with a head kick once or twice. I guarantee it. Aljo's defense isn't so tight, and TJ's kicking is so slick and smooth, and it's gonna be one of those dinks right over the top. You know, my boy Aljo's too busy training with that Belzic kid, and then freaking what's called 5'1" Marab.
Dude, AJ, are these breakdowns not fire?
I love it, man. I love it. Askar, I love it, bro. I love it. Listen, I like that this is his weight class. You know what I'm saying? You got to do it. You got to do it. Let them hear you, man. They might see it, man. We'll get them in the UFC sooner than later. You know what I'm saying?
We need to.
Yeah.
Me and Askarov, let's go.
Get a little, throw a water bottle at him. Apparently, that's how you get a fight nowadays. Throw a fucking water bottle at him in the back. They'll switch up the matchups. It'll be Askar Askar versus Piotr Jan. It'll be up.
No, come on, that's my boy. I want to trade with Piera. I want to fight Aljo and all those. I
want to fight Aljo. Got it. Yeah.
Yes, those guys. All
right. Ray Longo. Say some shit to him then. There you go. Main event. It's a freaking ridiculously awesome fight. You've got Charles Oliveira, who is arguably the most exciting fighter in mixed martial arts right now. The way he just walked towards Justin Gaethje and beat the shit out of him was awesome. He got dropped twice in that first round, by the way. But the way he made Justin Gaethje uncomfortable was so fun to see, because that's what Justin Gaethje does to people. He's the one walking Edson Barbosa down. He's the one. So when Charles Oliveira comes across the cage and he's like, I'm ready for war. You think I'm a quitter? And he makes him tap in that first round. It's nasty. Is he going to be able to do anything against an Islam Makhachev?
Come on, bro. Come on. Islam? No. Listen, Islam's the next lightweight champ. It's written. I'm telling you, that guy's going to beat Charles Oliveira. I don't care. There's no submission off his back. There's no catching him in this. I feel like Islam's way too composed mentally, physically, emotionally. Like, the man's not attached to anything. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing I was actually looking up the other day about Islam. It's like, we don't even know anything about this guy's life. We don't know his parents. We don't know his family. We don't know if he has, a wife or anything. It's like, all we know is this guy trains, grinds, and puts in work under Khabib. And he's training with one of the boys that's fighting for the Bellator lightweight title too. That's right. Usman Nurmagomedov, I think is his name.
Yeah, Usman. Yep. Yeah,
he's training with him, and that kid's a dog. So you know, and I'm like, listen, I know Charles Oliveira is obviously a dog, and he's been beating these dudes, but I feel like this is the fresh opponent that he's not going to be able to get past. Like, he was able to get past Dustin and Justin and then Michael Chandler, but a lot of those guys are breakable, and they've been broken before. Unless he shuts Islam off, he's not going to break Islam. And if Islam hits you and drops you and gets on top, he's not going to be like, no, come back up to your feet, come back and tee me up from a distance. No, he's going to get on top and smash you, you know? Not Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier style, where they were all scared of his guard or scared of his jiu-jitsu. I feel like with the jiu-jitsu being equalized, scared. Being equalized, it's not going to be the same fight as those other fights.
The way Poirier decided to roll when he was in that like somewhat omoplata or whatever, the way he just gave up position, it was like, dude, you are training to like avoid the jiu-jitsu. You kind of got to fight the guy, right? Okay, let me level a criticism at Mr. Islam Makhachev, and you tell me if I'm crazy, like some of the comments probably are going to. So I got to see him. I got to meet him at Bellator when he cornered Gadzi Rabinov. And Gadzi edged out JJ Wilson. Close decision. You got to take down in the third round that saved it to him. And they were in the back, and he was telling JJ, he's like, just take them down. He was like, just take these guys down. What are they going to do? Essentially like bypass striking. Then I'm watching him fight like a Dan Hooker. I watched this fight before that. And I look at Islam's style, Oscar, and I go, this guy is not a fighter. This guy does not want to exchange with people. He's scared on the feet. He doesn't do shit. He just stands there and gets in a staring contest ever since he's been knocked out. He uses his wrestling, and then he gets happy and he smashes people and he looks to Khabib and celebrates. But when he's on the feet, he's so patient to the point where I could see Charles start lighting him up on the feet. If they're stuck on the feet, let's say you told Islam you got to strike with him for 5 minutes. I mean, can he hang with Charles on the feet?
I mean, if they have to just strike for 5 minutes, probably not. But you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure if Islam just blows a gust of wind, he'll put Charles on his back. You know what I mean? If he blows at him, he's going to put Charles on his back. That's the thing. I feel like Charles is so willing to fall to his back, too, sometimes, that that's not going to be just him coming forward on Islam. And it's not like Islam's defense isn't tight. He fought guys like Arman. He fought guys like Drew Dober. He fought guys, you know what I mean? Like dangerous dude, hard hitters.
Drew Dober's underrated.
Like, don't get me wrong. Charles Oliveira hits hard, but he doesn't hit as hard as Drew Dober or Arman or these other guys that Islam's been, you know, even David Ramos is jiu-jitsu. Like
Arman's a beast too.
he doesn't attack like crazy. He doesn't attack like crazy on the feet, and he's definitely not getting no TKO standing or knockout standing. But he has enough foundation in his striking. I feel that it's going to be enough for him to be able to deal with Charles Oliveira. And it's not like the crazy thing is Khabib was able to get to the UFC title and stay undefeated with his crazy ass berserker style. You know what I mean? Where it can't knock down, be the only man to knock down Conor McGregor. It's like and he was that style. I feel like Islam's a lot more of a redefined, more tight with his attack, more tight with his defense, better on the counter, has a good left high kick, good left body kick. And he's gonna be able to use those tools against Charles. Charles isn't gonna just run through him like a piece of paper, bro. No way.
I agree, but I'll say this, man. I think that the striking of Oliveira, you're underrating a bit. I do think his boxing, when you look at the combinations, how he's letting them go, he's starting to develop skills. Like, I'm not going to put him at the likes of of Poirier as far as like best boxer in the UFC, but I think he is capable enough. If Makhachev gets comfortable on the feet, I could see him get stunned there. When I'm looking at the punches that could land, it's got to be a lead hook. Problem lies, though, Oliveira has a great overhand left. Makhachev is a great overhand left. What is Oliveira a sucker for? The overhand left. So if Makhachev does lug out that overhand, I think there is a chance that he lands it. And one thing I did feel is like a major thing is he is going to be the guy that's willing to follow up after rocking Oliveira. And I could see ground and pound stoppage too. That being said, from the back, if Makhachev goes more traditional wrestling route, I was looking at the fight with Kevin Lee for Oliveira, and he was throwing up even just weird leg attacks. He was consistently attacking from the bottom. Now, I know we're comparing Kevin Lee, who doesn't have that same top pressure, but I was also looking at Moises and Makhachev was an interesting fight because I do think Makhachev looked somewhat human against Moises. His grappling skills, it definitely was there. He was able to control. He was taken down once, which I think that's a huge feat at this point for Moises in his career. He took down Makhachev. He was able to submit in the fourth, but it took time. Was it because Moises was trying to survive rather than fight? Or was it that Makhachev didn't have as easy a time? So I'm looking at Oliveira's grappling, and I'm kind of feeling like Charlie's going to be fairly competitive at moments, at least to the level like we saw Moises. Like, I don't think he's going to get totally ran over, even if they're on the ground. I could see Makhachev on top, holding him down a bit, full guard. I see Oliveira attacking from the bottom. I see punches from Makhachev. But like Oliveira does do a good job, sometimes illegal though, like what he did with Poirier, grabbing the wrist. So like there's gonna be little things. If there's a glove grab, it could go one way. But I do think Oliveira off his back, I don't think it's super likely, but I'm going to say this. If there's a submission that he lands off his back, it's a triangle, bro. I was doing notes earlier, and I do think a triangle would be the one thing he could set up. It would go from armbar to triangle. If you go straight armbar, I'm saying Makhachev breaks out of it. If he's looking for legs, Makhachev fights out of it. The one submission that I think he could get locked into, and we've seen a couple of the Dagestani guys with savage wrestling bases, the way you can beat them is really only the triangle. So if I'm Oliveira from the back, I'm thinking setting up triangles. That's a factor, I think, here. As far as official pick, I guess I haven't made my like actual prediction for it yet. It's tricky for me, man, because I'm weighing out things like you say. I do think Makhachev can definitely take Oliveira down, but I'm just wondering how dominant will he be from the top? Like, I don't think he runs through him like how he did against, Bobby Green or Dan Hooker, like just because Oliveira's threat from the bottom at the very least.
Yeah,
so is it 5 rounds, Askar?
I think either late fourth or fifth round finish by your boy Islam ends up catching him in a sub. He doesn't TKO him, but he ends up catching him in a sub after my boy Charles gets gassed, or a decision by Islam. But I'm telling you, Islam doesn't gas, bro. That's the difference between him and guys like Kevin Lee and those other guys that were Charles was fighting on the way up. He does not tire. That guy's, man's never smoked in his life, never drank in his life. He's only focused on his conditioning and his monk. You know what I mean? It's like Khabib says, it's wake up, pray, sleep, or train. You know what I mean? Rest, recover, train again, and then, sleep, and then just keep repeating that day in and day out for these guys. These guys don't get tired. And, I feel like at the end of the day, he's not going to gas like Kevin Lee did. Kevin Lee looked like he started that fight gassed. I remember that fight during Kevin Lee looks like he starts every fight gassed, though. I love you, Kevin Lee. But in terms of Islam, that guy, come on, bro, that guy does not get tired. And I feel like we're going to see one of those moments where Charles makes a decision on, like he did back in the day with a few of those guys that put it on him where, he gets elbowed in the head by Paul Felder a couple times, and it's like, shit, that little shoulder tap, like, hey, I need to get out of here. And it's like, Paul's like, okay, I'll let you out right now. You know what I mean? And then the ref had to stop it. And, you know, or a few of his older fights. And I get it. Like we said, people change. But sometimes you get presented with a new challenge. And I feel like this is one of those challenges for him where Islam is just a brick wall. And if he gets past Islam, listen, I'm on a Charles Oliveira train until he's done. But I don't see him getting past Islam. I think Islam grinds him out or ends up subbing him late in the 5th or 4th round.
I feel like Islam, like, I will say this. I think he's extremely good, but I'm still looking at him as human. It's almost like how we looked at Khabib was not human. It was like, this guy just breaks everyone. So Islam, his boy, follows up with that. And the way he's beating these guys, he's manhandling them. I will say, when I go back to the Moises fight, I see, okay, Islam is human. I'm not sold that he's as good as Khabib yet. I know the team is selling it hard, and I know there's a lot of fans for it, and there's a big fucking marketplace for it too. But I'm not sold yet in him being Khabib. So I feel like Makhachev Oliveira, that's a fight. Like, if you told me it was Khabib Oliveira tomorrow, it's hard to pick against Khabib. Still, Makhachev, I can't yet.
The crazy thing is, personally, it's like, I think Khabib is human. You know, Khabib is human. It's Islam that's the guy that, like, for me, like, where I'm like, bro, this guy's a different kind of fucking animal. It's like Khabib's shown holes in his game where he tires out sometimes. He takes a round off. You know what I mean? His striking is a little sloppy. It's a little too open. You know, he gets dinked up by these guys. He eats the low kick, and you know what I mean? I feel like the most beneficial thing that happened in the end of his career, especially with Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier, is the chaos he was able to create and then get the guys to the ground. You know, create the chaos on the feet and then get them to the ground. With Islam, it's just good conditioning, tight boxing, tight kicks, beautiful striking, where it's like this guy's more flexible than any other fighter I've ever seen. And then his jiu-jitsu on top, you know what I mean? Even on bottom, I'm sure. I'm sure if you talk to anybody that's trained with Islam, they'll tell you he's one of the strongest dudes they trained with, one of the slickest, you know what I mean? Like, everybody that talks about him like he's a dog, you know? So, and I've been hearing about Islam since a while, since like his UFC debut. I remember being in Vegas back in like 2015, 2016, and Ali talking about how this guy's like a virgin, and he's like, you know, he's got all the strength in the world and this and that, and like, you know what I mean? This guy's been freaking working like a horse nonstop. So I honestly, I feel like the opposite opinion. I feel like Khabib's shown he's human, but Islam is not. He's a fucking.
You say he was a virgin, and what year was this, bro? How old was he at that point?
I have no idea. All I know is the man's waiting for marriage.
Holy shit.
Hey, he's all in. I mean, you know, I'll go on the tangent right now since you just said that. I feel like you guys, and what I mean by you guys is people who pray, religious people who actually take time out of the day to pray. You guys have a different, like, what's the way to say this? Having a moment with yourself every day where it's just you and your thoughts and you're able to focus. There's just a different level of like mental composure that a lot of you guys get. And I feel like it's that moment of meditation you guys get every day when you take time to pray. Am I crazy? Do you think that helps you focus? Like when I look at Islam, I think that discipline makes him much different than Sugar Sean O'Malley.
This is one thing I talk to a lot of the amateurs here and like the guys coming up, because you know they always asking, you know, especially guys coming off L's, even wins, they'll be like, man, how do I get through this? I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, we're all human beings. We all make mistakes. We all have our doubts. We all have our vices. You know what I mean? As much as like, oh no, I'm perfect, I'm good. It's like you have to look in your inner self. You're like, am I sleeping enough? Am I eating the right foods? Am I turning up on the weekend? Am I training every day? You know what I mean? I guarantee you Islam has none of those doubts. You know who has some of those doubts? Sean O'Malley. Right. But you know what I mean? You know who has those doubts? Charles Oliveira. You know who has those doubts? Justin Gaethje. You know what I mean? A lot of these, like Justin Gaethje goes through war, so he's going to have to take a long time off. You know what I mean? My boy's probably smoking, drinking, chilling. You know, the condition's not going to be up to par. Like, this guy lives and sleeps fighting. Yeah. Like, lives and sleeps fighting. And he, in his mind, he's like, I'm going to become champ, and there's nothing else. And it's crazy because one other thing is we're about to have a ONE FC champ, a lightweight champ, a Bellator lightweight champ, and a UFC lightweight champ, all from the same camp, all wrestling Russian Dagestani guys. You know what I mean? It's like, that's crazy. And it shows the work that these guys have been putting in, you know, especially with Khabib leading them now and building the blueprint for them. I feel like Islam, you know, being connected to a good religion and being close to your faith definitely helps you just be a better person. And being a better person helps you be a better fighter, you know? That's what it is.
There's something different about them. Definitely helps with their discipline. That's so obvious, right? They're the discipline and the lifestyle, living the monk lifestyle, living the fighter lifestyle. It's just insane. With that being said, Askar, you got to admit one of the best fighters ever is Jon Jones. He likes to snort coke, fuck hookers. I mean, you know, there's been success the other way too, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He was also on steroids, but yeah, you're right.
Picograms, brother.
Picograms, yeah. He was on steroids, and he was, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. John Jones is a legend. He's a dog, but I mean, at the end of the day, look where his career is at. It's like there's so much tarnish in his career coming up. Like even with the Daniel Cormier, to this day, I think about that, and I'm like, man, it sucks to be Daniel Cormier because it's like this fucking guy cheated on your ass, like. Man, that's honestly so lame of John Jones to do shit like that. Because, like, bro, just play the game right. Like, Matt Riddle beat your ass in college and wrestling, and now you're all of a sudden a different kind of dog. You must have been on a juice coming up. You know what I mean? Like, all of a sudden now you're, you know, but it is what it is. It's part of the game, you know. At the end of the day, you got to just be able to fight these dudes no matter what. But, you know, you're right. Some guys end up having success. But look at the difference between careers like Khabib, a guy that's kept it all together, and how much we respect him, and then how much the first thing you associate with John Jones is cocaine and hookers. And fuck, when I died, that's the last thing I want to be associated with, you know?
Good point.
I think John Jones, man, what it is too is he fell into the spotlight extremely young. At such a young age, bro. He was 23, becomes the world champ. So, like, the pressures of that, bad influences around you. John Jones, the steroid thing is weird at that point because I will say that was an era where testing was less serious. So, like, I'm curious, like, how many of the other guys towards the top were on shit too. So, I guess I'm not. I guess I'm not gonna knock.
Yeah, he fought TRT.
Right. He fought TRT. So that matchup is fair. You know what I'm saying? They're both on.
It was awesome.
Azul.
I love that fight.
Was huge. He was dude. He was.
I wish they just let him stay like that, dude.
No, you don't. Come on.
Hell yeah! For the
want to fight a guy on steroids?
No, I mean, listen, not over here. Light heavyweight, let them all do steroids. I want to see them destroy each other. Light heavyweight. Light heavyweight is the funniest division ever, dude. Let them all do steroids and destroy each other.
Stop.
Stop. It's like bringing a knife into the fight. It's an unfair advantage. If my opponent does steroids, now I feel like I have to. I got to destroy my heart and die from a heart attack in my 50s because I got to compete with these guys. You're joking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, 205 is fine as long as it's just them. I mean, equalize it for John. Listen, if I knew John Jones the champ was in my division doing that shit, I'd be like, come on, bro. I'm changing divisions. I'm not letting that guy.
I think like outside the UFC though, like I mean Bellator, they've caught people, but I know like dude, in some of the Asian leagues, they're not testing still. Like you can look over. I'm not gonna name them specifically, but you look at some of these jacked savages in one that's not possible, man. These guys are like freaks beyond freaks. But I guess if it's not, the biggest issue lies too, if you're the best guy over there and they're not testing, and then you had to jump to UFC, then I think that like your limitations are gonna be maxed out. Like I feel like you're gonna notice at least like a fucking 30% performance decrease overall. Yeah. You look at some guys that I am gonna assume were on shit outside of the UFC and then become good. Like an example was Pavlovich, who popped, bro, and then you see him now kind of develop like a more soft frame, but still carrying good power. But like it took him a few years to recover his body after taking the steroids. Like the biggest thing I feel like is bringing them back to baseline after. If you're stopping, then you're going subpar. It's going to take a while to like be normal again. But like, I don't know. Some guys have done it. Like I think Pavlovich is a good example, but John Jones, I don't know if he's off the juice now and he's going to heavyweight. That's a scary fucking proposition for him, man. I don't know, man. It's very weird because now, like you say, you compare the legacy with stuff. Then if he's not on, like, I don't know where to expect John Jones when he comes
John's
back.
Never going to be the same. He's never going to look like that again.
I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, his prime is definitely past its time. I'm excited to see him fight at heavyweight though. It's going to be a bang.
Look, I think the heavyweight division is the thinnest division next to the light heavyweight division. And, that's why he'll do okay. But even just watching him train, Askar, I'm sure you've seen some of these videos. I was out there in Arizona talking to some of the guys over there at the gym. Why can't I think of the gym right now? Fight Ready? Is that it? Fight Ready. Man, he just doesn't look like the John Jones who was throwing spinning back elbows on Shogun, and you take that much time off. I don't know what your longest layoff was, but ring rust, I think, is real, man. I think John Jones not fighting for a half decade, that shit's not good. And he's going to fight Stipe.
Fighting, bro. Momentum is key in fighting. If you're not, if you're fighting regular, it becomes like a normal routine for you. So I feel like John Jones, like doing something like that, especially at their level, like Like some guys could do it with sparring. You could get it with sparring, but you got to be sparring the right dudes that are bringing the right intensity. It's like, who's going to bring that intensity to John Jones in sparring? You know what I mean? John Jones probably toying with his sparring partners, all those guys he's got over there with his little built team, and he's going to go in there with guys like Francis Ngannou and Cyril Gane. It's going to be a different level of animal.
Right. Solid point, man. That's a big risk he'll take doing that. But if John wants to fight, that's what he's got to do. We're keeping him all day. This has been a fun sit down with you, bro. If you want to come and break down the fight, how fun has this shit been, AJ?
Yeah, dude, Askar, you're a great guest, bro. You bring the personality. I like that you bring hard opinions, man. It's needed in the fight game, bro.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm out here. AJ, I've been a big fan though, especially too, bro. I've been seeing you around. Obviously, I gamble on fights too, so I try to get a few takes of the guys, and then when I heard you and Mike Finch were working together, I'm like, damn, sick. I was like, okay. And then my brother Montas was telling me you guys were doing this, and I was like, this is super sick.
That's awesome, bro. Hey, listen, I'm glad to hear that, bro. It's always interesting, right? Because like I'm doing picks. I don't know who the fuck's watching, man. Somebody's gonna fucking want to strangle me when I pick against them. I'm like, bro,
that's the thing. Trust me. I just
dude, how I look at it is this, you know what I'm saying? If we were talking about a basketball game, I'm saying I'm picking that team over that team, right? It's analytics, it's my opinion, and shit, I could be wrong. In fights, I guess the thing is it's a lot more intense and shit like that. Yeah, it gets more personal. But how I view it is more like analytical. You know, I pick who I think. And honestly, like there's guys I pick against that I fucking pray I'm wrong, and I hope they fucking prove me wrong.
Yeah, I like that. That's smart.
There it is. Hey, I had no idea you were watching AJ's show back then. That's badass.
Yeah, I've been. There's a few guys I was keeping an eye on, especially for the picks. Listen, as soon as they let me start picking these fights and put a little bit of cash on that, I'm like, bro, I'm not letting everybody else make their money and not make a little bit of. Let's go. I get a few breakdowns from the guys, but when I listen to a few guys, I'm like, this guy knows absolutely nothing. I'm blocking his page.
Come to MMA experts. Come to Mike Finch show. We got you out there.
Locked in.
Locked in. Bro. Ladies and gentlemen, LFA's best, the future UFC champion, Askar Askar, one of the 3 absolute savage Askar brothers. Drop us. How do we keep up with AK-47?
My social medias, I got Instagram and TikTok. I'm not, I got off Facebook because that shit was for old motherfuckers. But AK-94 on both. I turn up. I try to stay active on social media. I love joking around and putting funny shit up, or just putting highlights on my fights. Half the reason I like fighting is be able to put up highlights of me dicking people up. So, check out my social media on that. And then obviously this weekend, my boy Jonathan Martinez and my boy Ben Royval about to shine. I can't wait to see Jonathan kill a legend and be able to build his name and his legacy off of that. And then next month, my boy Chris Gutierrez is fighting Frankie Edgar, baby, Madison Square Garden. Your boy's gonna be in the corner. Let's go. Let's go, baby. I can't wait to see you smash Frankie.
That's sick. That's sick, bro. Let's go.
We need some Instagram lives for all this shit, bro. This
sounds
fucking awesome.
I can't wait for that, dude. As soon as I was like, bro, this guy's fighting Frankie Edgar, I was like, that's legendary shit. Frankie's last fight to fight Chris Gutierrez is going to be sick.
Dude, that'll be sick, bro. Listen, if I could, man, maybe I'll call you after in the fight companion. We get a little backstage access because I'm live throughout the whole card.
You just let me know, baby.
My guy. Listen, Askar, it was a pleasure to meet you, man. I really appreciate you being a fan of the show, man. You're a fucking G. I'm looking forward to you getting back in there, and let's get these wins coming, and let's get this UFC contract, man. If you have to go Ultimate Fighter, it's not a bad idea. I'm telling you, I'm a big Ultimate Fighter proponent because you get to build the personality a bit on the show. Definitely bring it out because you got one, bro. So use it.
But I would run that house, bro. I would run those guys that house. They would all be my kids, especially now. Who they but anyways, listen, at the end of the day, as long as they do a season at 45, because I'm not trying to cut to 35 every few weeks,
Yeah, fair.
We'll see what happens. Hopefully, just like you said, I'll get a win streak going and get back where I need to be in the position to be able to shoot up. Don't let these fucking judges steal from me,
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Listen, bro. What did Dana say, bro? Never leave it in the hands of the judges, man. Easier said than done, obviously, but still.
Swear to God, bro. I swear to God, it is. It's the truth. I remember before the last fight, the ref told me that while I was in the back, and I was like, "That's the first time a ref ever told me that." And it's of course it'd be the first time where I get robbed like that. I want to smack the shit out of that Brazilian ref. Come on, bro. I was like, what? You bring that nasty, weak ass energy? I was like, get out of my face, bro. Just tell me the rules and right out. Let me fight this guy.
Right.
He was telling you it was fixed before, bro. That's what I think.
Yeah, he was hitting me with that shit. It's some bullshit. It is what it is. It's just crazy. It's like the MMA judging system is just straight garbage in MMA. I was actually thinking about how a few different ways you can fix that shit, and I'm like, bro, we should subtract 2 judges and make the referee a judge. make the referee a judge. The referee needs an opinion. He's in there watching the fight as close as possible. If the fight ends, it ends. The referee's able to stop it. But he's able to see the action inside the cage, the closest, not sitting behind a pillar and you got to look down at the piece of paper and then back up at the person and they can be doing something, or they're all the way across the cage and you can't see what strike they're landing. So I feel like making the referee a judge and putting 1 or 2 judges outside could play a better thing instead of these 3-judge system. Or like maybe having more rounds in MMA. Maybe like instead of like having 5 or 3 5s, we do 3 minutes, 5 rounds. You know what I mean? And I get some people like, oh, it's not enough action. But for the jiu-jitsu guy, for the guy that's going to hold him down. But I'm like, the better thing about that is a lot of times in MMA, you're catching subs off strikes. You know what I mean? You're not sitting there methodically. Like not anybody. It's not the Damon Maia era where it's like, you got to settle and guard and find your thing. Look at what Charles Oliveira did to Justin Gaethje. Dinked him, got on top and took his neck, There's everybody is good at jiu-jitsu now. There's nobody that's like going to just let you get on their back and get underneath their neck.
Greg Hardy.
Yeah. Corey Sandhagen versus our boy Corey Sandhagen. Like he got right on top of him after he got his back and subbed him right away. So I feel like that 3 rounds or 3 minutes, 5 rounds would be a game changer for the game, but that's that's probably not gonna happen. I'm just going, ranting off some crazy
shit. Oh shit, that's interesting, man. I guess I couldn't see them shifting it, but I could see 5 judges. I thought that maybe you were gonna say 5 judges instead of just 3. I know kickboxing. I was watching Glory. They have 5 judges there. More opinion on it. I think the UFC, I will say though, I'm pretty sure they have cage side monitors, but outside of the UFC, I don't know if they have that accessibility with the funds and some of these events. So you get bad decisions, especially on the way up. And then next thing you know it stifles your run to the UFC. Oh shit, this guy lost to this guy, that guy, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
AJ, activate A. He says, get the judges in the cage. Better view. It's a joke.
There you
obviously.
go.
Look, it's a good point though, because when judges watch from one vantage point, you would think, oh, they're cage side. That's a great view. No, you guys at home have a better view than the judge does cage side. I know that. I sit cage side at fights all the time. I'm constantly looking up at the monitor to see what's going on the ground. I didn't even see that he was throwing these hooks to the face or whatever. When you're on top in half guard, I can't see a lot of what's going on. So Askar, solid points. And obviously there's been a judging problem in all combat sports, but mixed martial arts is a unique one, right? So we'll get Askar the judge on the day he decides to retire. Okay. Help these guys out.
Ref, judge, everything, executioner, all of them.
Love it. Let's go. I got one question before you leave. Since you're here, Mike Finch, I got to ask you this one too, because Bellator is doing, quality events and stuff. Askar, I want to know, would you ever be interested in a Bellator run? That's, I guess, something I have to ask you. If they called and said, hey, or is it UFC settled?
I mean, listen, I wouldn't mind going to Bellator, but honestly, it's like I feel like at this point in my career, I feel like the UFC should be my, my like go-to. I feel like I'm at that point where it's like I'm not young where I could go have a Bellator run and then twist back to the UFC. Like I'd rather just aim my sights at the UFC and I'm there. And to tell you the truth, as you're talking about Bellator, listen, I think the best bantamweight in the world is in Bellator. He's not even in the UFC. The best bantamweight in the world is in the Bellator, and he's holding the interim championship right now. You know what I mean? That Raphael Stats is one of the highest skilled
super stats.
Bro, the highest skilled dudes in the world. I don't care what anybody says or thinks. That guy's been taking dudes out left and right, putting dudes down, knocking out Chaleta, messing up that Magomedov's guys run. Like, I feel like he's one of the best bantamweights in the world, and it's kind of a sin that we didn't get to see him fight in the UFC because the turn of events that happened with his career, getting knocked out by Merab and, the freak knockout, and then all of a sudden he's in Bellator and he just ran towards the title as fast as possible. But, Bellator was an option early on, but I feel like now I got my sights set on the UFC, and I'm just going to keep digging this hole until I get there.
Well, and you've been talking to the UFC. AJ, he's already been talking to, the UFC. They already booked him for a fight. I mean, so totally understood, to go through that path. Did I just hear you say that Raphael Stats is going to beat Danny Sabatello?
Bro, listen, he's not beating Danny Sabatello. He's dogging Danny Sabatello. Don't even start with that Danny Sabatello kid. That's a motherfucker that thinks he has a personality, but he just talks shit left and right. So freaking annoying, bro. This guy wants to lay on top of people and just. I remember watching this contender series fights and a few fights in Titan, and I'm like, bro, for the love of God, you're gonna just come hold people down? Like, go just do grappling, sport jiu-jitsu, and call it a day. But I get it. I don't think he's able to do that to Raphael. Raphael's wrestling is way too good. The kid's way too strong. You know what I mean? Too experienced. And his stand-up is just getting better and better by the day, especially training out there with Adrian Yanz now. And I feel like he's going to dog Sabatello. Sabatello's going to look like a deer in headlights when he sees Raphael come at him. It's going to be the first dude that he's like, bro, I can't get this dude down. And this dude fucking throws crazy-ass head kicks and, left hands. Like, he's gonna be looking like a deer in headlights. I feel like that fight finishes under 3 rounds, and it's gonna be shocking to Raph when he's able to put him away early, because he's gonna be like, man, I expected more from this kid. But Raph is a dog. But Raph is I'm saying, the best bantamweight in the world.
Back when Stotts was going to fight like Jeff Kern or something, I remember asking your brother, Asif, I was like, all right, you've been to Rufus Sport. Who's a guy who people are going to see in the next couple years? Who's coming up? He told me Stotts. And sure enough, bro, motherfucking right, man. Stotts is a problem. So shout out to Super Stotts. I'll cut this and send it to him. I'm sure he appreciates the love.
Let's go, baby. What's up, Rob?
That's
my boy. We haven't talked to him in a minute, but that's my guy.
Perfect.
Askar, thank you for being here, bro. It was a pleasure to chat it up, and we'll have you back on very soon, man. Much love.
Hell yeah. You just let me know whenever. Thank you, guys. Have a good rest of the night.
Thank you.
Have a good one, bro.
All eyes on me.
Finch is
only
the main
me.
attraction.
Only
Mike
me.
Finch. It's only Mike Finch on
this
the screen.
This is the Mike Finch show, ladies and gentlemen. Tune in. Oh, and I got the head seat. Oh, man.
I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry, brother.
No, I like that.
That was fun, man. That was fun talking to Askar. He's a good dude. I like the personality. I like how he sells it. And he had good breakdowns. I like his opinions.
Did he not just throw everything but the kitchen sink at us? I mean, he was going in. He didn't think about politics. He doesn't think about, I shouldn't say this because the UFC wants to sign me. He said, fuck it, let all those light heavyweights do steroids. I mean, he was just off the cuff with it, man. It was really fun having him on for the longest we've ever had a guest on.
Yeah, that was like a good 45 minutes of it, man. It was incredible.
That was
a podcast episode, and we got picks to do now, Finch. I think we
got
that
right. I thought the show was over. You want to do picks?
We got to jump into picks. Right. Let's jump to the first fight of the night. The Mike Jackson takes on Pete Rodriguez. I said the Mike Jackson because I didn't want you to mix him up with little Michael. You know what I'm saying, Mike? We got to say something though before we break this one down. Shout out to my bookie for showing love, sponsoring the show. So definitely check out my betting at my bookie. Use code Moneyline. You can go there, get yourself the playback bonus, and it helps your boys out. And it's a quality source to use for throwing down some dinero on these beautiful fist fights. Let's talk this first one. It's Mike Jackson, Pete Rodriguez, Mike Finch. Break it down. What are your thoughts on this one?
Mike Jackson? You mean the guy that got my CM Punk fight? Damn it, Mike Jackson. You got the opportunity, and what'd you do with it? Nothing, man. That fight sucked. He barely beat CM Punk. What are we talking about here, man? This is a part-time fighter, calls himself a journalist. Come on, son. Mike Jackson, you cannot do this part-time, bro. This ain't tennis. This is cage fighting. If you're going to be a cage fighter, you can't have this going on, and then you do cage fighting on the side. And he gets this big opportunity and does nothing with it. I mean, if you give me CM Punk, at least I'll beat him and call somebody out. We'll have some fun, right? He didn't do anything fun with it. The UFC was like, meh. Dana White didn't like the fight for obvious reasons. Mike Jackson, you got to try to finish CM Punk, not win a close decision. I hated that fight. I hate Mike Jackson, and I'm going Rodriguez. And the reason why I'm going Rodriguez is because Rodriguez is an actual full-time fighter, AJ. This ain't a game. Rodriguez and I don't know, decision. Maybe he puts him out. It's up in the air for me. Let me see what my actual breakdown was. I wrote knockout. Fuck it. We'll go a knockout. We'll go Rodriguez KO. I wouldn't be surprised to see him win a decision.
No, he's going to get the KO. The way he digs to the body, I like with the lead hooks, the pressure he puts on opponents. Mike Jackson's got 2 minutes in him, I think, of being okay. And then he's going to start to wilt. The same thing you saw with Dean Barry. Unfortunately, the situation there, the eye gouge ends the fight. But he was on his way to getting TKO'd. I think Rodriguez finishes that job. And I also think finishes Mike Jackson, aside from the possibility that Mike Finch makes a comeback to take him on. So if they want to set that shit up, we'll do it in Bellator, man. Call him up. Let's go, Mike Finch.
Set it up. I like that fight. Fight. 20K on I'm out of retirement. Kevin El Basri asked me that today, my buddy Kevin. And I told him, yes, 20K. I'm out of retirement. Me and Mike Jackson, let's do this shit. Josh Saunders, sick interview. Thank you. Solid, Simon Lang. We appreciate it, man. That was super fun. And hey, we started off with some fire here. I had some heat from Mr. Jackson. I had some pent up rage. I needed to let that out, AJ.
You needed to. No, I could tell there's some baggage there. Like I remember we talked about this, early on when we were doing the show, how you tried to get the CM Punk fight And then unfortunately doesn't happen. And Mike Jackson somehow got it.
I mean, what did he just farted, bro? He completely just fumbled the bag. Like you want to go into the CM Punk fight and make it a big deal. It was a big marquee thing. Do you remember the Mickey Gall CM Punk fight? They put that shit on pay-per-view, bro. They paid CM Punk $500,000. That's how you approach the fight. That's how you approach the fight. You don't try to eke out a decision.
No. That was terrible. I agree, man. Awful performance. And Mike Jackson, I think, is set to get stopped here.
Rodriguez needs some justice.
We're going Rodriguez. Mike Jackson, I think he's in trouble. But he seems like a cool guy from what I've seen. I don't know. I've seen some of the journalism stuff, but I don't know enough about him. Minus 770, Pete Rodriguez. Mike Jackson at plus 465. Jackson to win. Jackson. I mean, if Jackson won by KO, it'd be plus 950. I'll just throw that crazy line, but it's Rodriguez KO is our side. It's minus 215. Maybe we go first round, but I think you are playing with fire a bit there. Rodriguez KO round 1, minus 140. I think Rodriguez is a disgustingly wide pick that there's not a ton of value on, unfortunately.
Yeah, the odds are too wide for me, man. If anything, it's a sprinkle on a parlay, and you won't see it in my parlay tonight.
Makes sense, Mike Finch. Makes sense. Good first fight of the night. Look forward to these guys throwing down. I think it's going to start the night off with the good energy, man. The next one is Tatsuro Taira versus CJ Vergara.
This is a good one.
Mike, am I crazy for picking CJ Vergara?
Yes, you are.
I am? Okay, all right. So this is why I'm picking him. I feel as he can match Taira with the hands. Boxing-wise, I think he's competitive.
Agreed.
I think with the kicks, Taira has an edge. Submission game, Taira edge. Vergara, though, he's physically pretty strong. Takedown defense is definitely not bad. His grappling skills offensively haven't looked bad in fights. If Taira gets the back, I suggest that Vergara is in serious trouble here. But I do think Vergara is going to be able to fend off the attacks, and I feel like this fight's going to be really competitive. I don't know what draw me towards going split decision for CJ Vergara. I think he can pull this one out, man. I know Taira's a really good prospect. He's unbeaten. This was like the, lower confidence underdog pick, but I'm still picking him. I'm going to ride with Vergara to upset him. I have a weird feeling about it. I look at the Clayton Rodriguez fight. I did think Vergara could have lost that decision. This one here, I see it as close. Now I guess I'm going with the veteran status. I've been liking veterans lately over the younger guys coming in. He's veteran savvy. He's going to have that, grown man strength over Taira potentially too. These are the factors here which are making me pick CJ. What about you, Mike Finch? Let's hear it.
I think Tatsuro Taira is far better at jiu-jitsu, far better at submissions. I think he's getting on Vergara's back and strangling him. With that being said, Vergara might be a better striker. And I see what you're saying. It's a man against, a very young man, at least. I mean, Tatsuro Taira, you can almost call him a kid, a boy. He's very, young in the UFC, young in a biological human, right? So I just think that, there are a couple of fruits that you just laid out there for us, and I appreciate that. If Vergara is going to win this fight, it probably is a decision. It probably is him doing more on the feet, defending takedowns, maybe trying to get on top a little bit, and holding this kid off. But the biggest difference I see between the two is that Tatsuro Taira can finish this fight by submission. I don't see Vergara knocking him out. I don't see Vergara winning. So I got Tatsuro Taira submission, and one of the fights I like a little better, although I must say Vergara's been, tough guy, pretty well-rounded, probably makes a fight out of it. We saw Tatsuro Taira in his last fight give up a couple positions, and there was a couple times where you saw that he was a little bit green. Probably should not be making those mistakes against Vergara in a 3-round fight. It only takes, 1 or 2 mistakes to drop 2 of those rounds. So you don't want to see him end up on bottom. I don't want to see Tatsuro Taira like playing a guard game underneath Vergara. I want to see him on the back. AJ, I think he's going to get there.
Interesting. All right. I respect it, Finch. I guess I look at that Candelario fight, and like you said, the little bit of mistakes, the greenness, like that's what made me pick towards the side of the veteran in Vergara here.
Yeah.
As far as lines, though, I'll read the odds out. Vergara is sitting at plus 195. Taira is minus 260. Finch, you're liking that sub side, so I'll read it out. It is submission for Taira plus 300, and then on the opposite side, Vergara, if you were to go decision, plus 395. He's saying bet the over. That's what CJ's saying. It's over 2.5 minus 200. So we'll read that out to the people.
CJ said that?
Yeah, it's supposedly in his bio on Instagram. You want me to? I can try and pull it up, Finch. If you want me to get, I can share the screen if you want. Where's his Instagram?
You can share the screen. I'm gonna pull it up too. What are you talking about? He is telling people what to bet.
Oh, I'm telling you, bro.
Oh, CJ. Hey, that's gangster, man. If he loses a bunch of people money, this man better be ready for some mean.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna bring this up right now, man. I'm sharing the screen.
Bet the over while you can.
Boom. Let's bring it up. Look at this right there, Finch. Taira, Vergara, bet the over while you can. Look at you guys probably can't see. I'm gonna zoom it in a little more. Bet the over right there. Look what he's saying. He's saying bet the over. That's ballsy.
All right. First off, I'm following him. Sorry, CJ, for picking against you live on our show today. Thank you. Show your Instagram. Hey, I like the confidence. I do. And, like Johnny Eblin was telling us, he had all his friends and family betting on him. When they go in there riding with that on their shoulders, that it tells me he ain't going to quit that night. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it's a matter of his willpower, though. I just think it's a matter of he can't stop Tatsuro Taira from getting on his back. With that being said, he's well-rounded and a vet. I respect it, AJ. I take it back.
And going distance, I could see. Well, you think I'm not crazy? That's good. That's good. I appreciate that. Let's keep running up. Next matchup on the card is Piera Rodriguez and Sam Hughes. Sam Page going after an unbeaten Piera Rodriguez. Does the O gotta go here, Mike Finch? I'm saying that 2 undefeated records get I guess broken. The O's gotta go. I'm going with Sam Hughes, man.
Woo!
I'm going with Sam, bro. All right. So what I feel like is Piera Rodriguez's boxing, from what I saw in the debut, the Contender Series fight, though effective, I'm not going to call her a devastating puncher. There was nothing that really stood out in the page. What I did notice is Kay Hansen had okay moments with takedowns and pressure. I think Sam Hughes is superior.
Down too.
She did. She took her down. I think Sam Hughes right now is better than a Kay Hansen. I see Sam Hughes having success in the clinch, man. She's strong with that forward pressure. I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of grappling between these two, especially standing more clinch positions. And that's why I'm feeling like the side of Sam Hughes might pull this one off, man. I'm taking her on a decision, bro. I'm gonna go upset.
Yeah, well, of course, Piera Rodriguez did fight a grappler in her last fight, Kay Hansen, and was able to look pretty good doing it. You know, she's very patient on the feet. She'll hang back a little bit. I do like that against, like you said, an aggressive Sam Hughes. If she could just keep that space, a little bit of cushion, that'll be nice. It tends to make it harder to take her down, too, to close that distance. I like what you said about Sam Hughes in the clinch. I wasn't really thinking too much about the clinch, but if I'm in, like, Sam Hughes' corner, I'm telling her, get a hold of this girl, put her into that fence, and just push her through the damn thing for 3 rounds. Because if she could just keep Piera Rodriguez's back on that fence the whole fight, that makes it interesting. Because you're right. I think Sam Hughes is physically stronger. Definitely has looked better since changing camps. So, Sam Hughes, don't get fooled by the record. Like, it's going to be a competitive fight. That's not what I'm thinking. But, man, Rodriguez loves her left hook. I feel like she might put it on Sam a couple times, even might hit a takedown or two. I gotta lean for unfortunately the undefeated favorite. Although AJ, not crazy wide odds, especially considering these records, right? Like 2-1.
It's reasonable. So we're looking at -170 for Piera Rodriguez and Sam Hughes at +135. There's confidence on Piera Rodriguez winning and keeping her undefeated record by the bookies, but Sam Hughes is not being completely slept on as a dog. Because I do think she can do some, I don't want to say she can even do some damage, but she can get some control time. And I think in this fight, a lot of forward pressure could stifle the Piera Rodriguez game. Especially, I don't know, like the UFC experience for Sam Hughes. She's been in there with some decent girls now, whereas Piera doesn't have that competition level. I think some veteran tricks are in store here. So that's why I'm liking Sam Hughes to pull this one out, man.
Our boy Andy Gonzalez coming through with the comment of the night. This fight is over 2.5 rounds. Absolutely, he says. Yes. Bro, Andy, I think you nailed it, dude.
Yeah,
I think you nailed it.
If you look
at my coach's hat again, when Piera Rodriguez throws that left hook, A lot of times she misses short and she keeps turning her hips through. And that's a good moment for Sam Hughes. If she's smart, wait for her to miss that big ass left hook and take her down then. Yeah. I don't know why I haven't seen girls do it yet, but while I was watching a little bit of Rodriguez, 2 days ago, I definitely noticed that, when she misses kind of big. And if you're smart about your level changes, you kind of put that jab in their face. As soon as she misses that hook, boom, change levels go in on that takedown. There is a pathway for Sam Hughes to do it. So especially since Andy Gonzalez reminded me, why don't you guys, my recommendation, bet 2.5 rounds. I'm doubling down with Andy Gonzalez. I think this goes over 2.5. I think this goes to a decision.
Minus 290 for that over.
Why would it go any other way?
Yeah, it's going distance. We're going long, and I think Sam Page pulling off the upset. Finch, you're going to go on the side of Rodriguez on a decision. Competitive fight for sure. Sam, that record does not properly display where she's at now with the team change and everything. She's got a pathway to do this, and I think you hit it with the clinching. And I think if she makes that left hook miss and hits that takedown, you guys got to give me a little shout out. All right, let's go. Next fight on the card. It is Joanderson Brito and Lucas Alexander. It's very hard to pick against Joanderson Brito here. I'm not doing it. And I don't expect you to either, Finch. Brito's pretty powerful with his punches, has, a sneaky submission game he can mix in. He's really explosive, a physically strong guy, good overhands, closes the gap well. Whereas I look at Lucas Alexander, he's a decent from distance kickboxer. I'm not overly impressed by anything I saw. I even saw him kind of comfortable on his back in a previous fight on the regional scene. I think
won't be under Brito.
It won't be comfortable. He'll be getting smashed. And I think Brito's going to look for the win probably by submission. I think could be damage on the feet. I wouldn't be shocked by a knockout, but I think Joanderson Brito, I'm going to call it sub. I'm not going to go as far as to say it's definitely a club and sub, but that wouldn't surprise me as the outcome. I just don't feel Lucas Alexander matches well with him. And also very short notice, man. Even if he did have a tool set that's very equivalent to Brito, which I don't believe it is, he's coming in probably not in the absolute best condition for this UFC debut. So we're going Joanderson Brito. Finch, man, where you at?
100%. And it's about the geography of this fight. If Brito gets a hold of him, I think that's when he's going to shine in this fight. He needs to close the distance. He needs to try to get on top. I think Brito can wear him out. And just like you said, it's short notice. Maybe try to take him out later. Let's go with Brito with a 3rd round sub.
Brito 3rd round sub. I like it, Mike Finch. Let's read off the lines on that one. Joanderson Brito, the money line is wide, bro. It's minus 400. Lucas Alexander is plus 285. I'm looking at Joanderson Brito to win via submission. That line currently, whoa. We're seeing it at plus 330. Listen, if you have the option to play it, it's not everywhere. I'll say that. There is a plus 330 line available.
Oh, shit.
So if you're looking at that at plus 150 or more, I find value in it personally.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think that's the most likely scenario, right? Yeah. I think if I'm not mistaken, maybe I am. You called for a club and sub, didn't you, on your other show?
So I said club and sub is definitely possible here.
Okay. Yeah. I think club and sub is possible. Absolutely. Yeah. That's what's tough, right? It's like when you club somebody, you're going to keep clubbing them. It's like, It's like, when you pick submission or you pick, TKO and then they hurt them and then they finish them. So it's very difficult to pick because that's probably what it's going to look like, right? It's going to look like Brito trying to get him out of there. Does he go for the TKO or the submission? Circumstantial.
Yeah. I don't know. For some reason, in my mind, I think he goes for the submission route, which I think would come easier, as opposed to trying to, ground and pound them out of there. Yeah. I like, bro, I'm confident in Joanderson Brito. I just don't like the line. Like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, bro, I think he's got an extremely high chance of winning. I just don't know. Man. Yeah.
I might sprinkle a little something on Brito sub, man. I'm going to look at that. So. And, my bookie might be hearing from me. You know what I'm saying?
I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, Mike Finch. Check out my bookie to throw down some bets.
Promo code Moneyline.
Let's
get
keep
yourself
on.
A sign-up bonus.
Let's keep on running up the card. Things are going to get interesting in this next one because it's Nick Diaz Army's own Nick Maximov versus Jacob Malkoun. Finch, break this one down for us.
Hey, Maximov coming in with some hype. People are loving him. And then he gets steamrolled by Petroski. Petroski ate him, bro. It looked like a great white shark came out there and just swallowed him whole. That was crazy, dude, watching him get fucking strangled. So that was a wake-up call. Like, okay, this guy is, he competes in grappling, but he loses in grappling, So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, can Nick dominate the grappling with Malkoun? I don't think he can, man. I think it'll be competitive enough anyway. Is it enough to steal him around or a minute or two here and there? Probably. But is Nick Maximov going to submit Jacob Malkoun? Look, it's possible. I don't think so. I'm going to go ahead and lean the underdog on this one, AJ. I think Malhoun's going to be better on the feet, a little more dynamic of a mixed martial arts fighter. He'll just have something to offer everywhere. His takedown defense is decent. I know Phil Hawes smacked his ass up on the feet, but this is not a Phil Hawes. This is not a guy who, first off, has that reach and that explosiveness, but it's just a different type of a style. I think Nick Maximov is going to try to take him down a lot. I think he's going to fail a lot at it. I think Jacob Malkoun is good enough to edge a decision out here. Underdog money, I like it. My favorite underdog of the card, Jacob Malkoun.
You're taking everything I fucking work for, motherfucker. Nick Maximov, Team Diaz. Listen, I don't think it's going to be like an absolute beatdown. I think I botched the Nate Diaz action there. I didn't go low enough on the fucking droop there. But I
work for, motherfucker. I want to fight your fucking ass. What's the real fight? What's the real money fight is me, not these other clowns you punked at the press conference.
Dude, that's legendary, man. Holy shit. Dude, you got me thinking about doing a third fight between them. But let's get back to this fight real quick. Nick Maximov, I'm going to pick him, man. I'm going with the army, the Diaz army. I think there's definitely a chance that he loses this fight on a grinding decision. I don't think Malhoun's much of a finisher, so I think probably more likely to go long. If Maximov's unsuccessful for takedowns, I could see him under Malkoun. And Malkoun being happy to hold position. I don't know. With Jacob Malkoun, he's just not a guy that gets finishes, unfortunately, through what we've seen. The stand-up is developing, but it's still raw, in my opinion. He's developed an okay jab, though. Maximov on the other side doesn't do anything great on the feet. He kind of looks like, this... I'm going to say even a little bit green when he strikes sometimes, like a very square stance, like kind of how he ducks over. It's like a weird thing. Like it's like trying to be Diaz without having the natural like Diaz striking ability and less of the experience training in the stand-up. Maximov's a grappler. He's going to pressure grapple. I think that he'll be surprised, honestly, I'm going to say surprised at Malhoun's takedown defense. The reason that I say this is because he didn't seem to respect Petroski in their fight. I know you said Petroski also steamrolled him. Maximov looks like the front headlock position was held by Petroski. He had an opportunity. I believe he got him with the anaconda choke, if I'm not mistaken here.
I think so. Or a Darce anaconda.
It was one of those.
Definitely from the front headlock, and it was definitely a strangle.
He had the front headlock. I think Maximov just disrespected his threat of submissions and just kept pushing forward, locked himself in it tighter. And then even as Petroski went to fall back to grab the sub, like you could tell as he committed to the submission, Maximov looked very confident he was going to just spin right out of it, gets himself deeper in the choke, and then put out. I think Maximov is still going to be my pick here, but you have to be cautious if you're betting the Maximov side because he's extremely unproven. I'm going to pick him to win an edgy decision. I think it's going to be competitive. But just, dude, with Malkoun, he's just, at least Maximov is looking for submissions. With Malkoun, I see pressure, control, winning rounds, decisions. Whereas Maximov, yes, he's kind of doing the same thing. I do see him more looking towards finishing as opposed to Malkoun. I think's more sort of developing this grinding style.
Chat's lit on this one, AJ. We might as well walk up it. Summer White, you could start with the last comment. Now that O is gone, maybe, just maybe, Maximov will let the hands fly. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if he has if there's a tangible difference there. Above him, just like the last three comments are all good.
Yeah.
Remember when Maximov was hyped? Or here we go. Yeah, remember when Maximov was hyped by Nate Diaz, the one to beat Hamzat? Come on, ladies and gentlemen.
That. I got to give some love to the last chat that got read out that I didn't bring up in time. I was too far ahead.
Summer White, we got you. Malkoun training with Whitaker. Good inside info. Thank you, Jonas. Maximov still focused on Chimaev, looking past him. Bro, why? Why is he focused on Chimaev? And then can you scroll up to, this is going to be an ugly fight. Can you scroll up to You're Mad at the top there? Malkoun, 3-0 in pro boxing. Solid to bring up. I think
still
that
haven't been impressed by his boxing for some reason.
But better than Maximov.
True. I can't. If you told me they were gonna box, I'm not picking Maximov. That's fair.
100%.
That's fair.
100%. So there we go. Me and AJ disagree. We'll see who's right because I got the underdog.
Yeah, you do got dog money, man. Maximov to win. As far as the money line, we're sitting at -140. Malkoun money line +110. There's the upside with playing Malkoun as a dog for sure. It's just not a great line on either side. Mike Finch, how much do you like this underdog, Jacob Malkoun?
My favorite underdog of the card.
Okay.
Anytime you pick an underdog, don't bet your house, chill. But man, I've had some luck with some dogs. So I'll say this is my favorite underdog of the card, AJ. I do think that there's just a very clear pathway to beating Nick Maximov. Outstrike him, don't let him out grapple you. And you know what? Malkoun's takedown defense, I think, should hold up enough. He puts that underhook in pretty nicely. I was watching some of his old fights. I mean, I was really trying to see because my issue here is, can Maximov dominate the grappling? If the answer is no, now I'm confident in Malkoun.
Facts. I guess we'll find out on fight night. I don't know. I'm on the Nick Diaz army side, but it's
and
like
they got momentum.
Confidence.
Askar Askar was talking about having momentum. Everybody's thinking, Nick Maximov just lost. What is this going to change about him? Honestly, the team's momentum is going to help him, man. Nate Diaz being on the top of his career right now, just headlined and submitted Tony Ferguson. It's like, that aura does carry over. Your team starts winning. You're like, yeah, we are bad motherfuckers. Actually, we should be winning these fights. Anything to help mentally,
who called out, he didn't get called out specifically by Floyd, but that they're talking about maybe Diaz Floyd.
Nate and Floyd.
How sick is that?
How silly are we? Let's do it. It's better than Floyd fighting in Japan with whatever these.
He's in Japan. This would be though. It's under Ryzen, but with Nate Diaz.
I like Ryzen. Ryzen and Bellator have been talking about doing a co-promoted event where Bellator fighters fight Ryzen fighters. I mean, I'm a fan of all of it. Let's go.
I'm in. Let's do it. Let's keep running up. Next fight is Raphael Assunção and Victor Henry. Listen, Assunção to me has seen his best days. I don't like him in this spot at all. I think he's going to get beaten up here by Victor Henry. I could see him getting finished. I'm leaning the knockout side. I could see Henry letting the hands fly and stunning him for sure. Assunção's chin, I think, is weathered. You see him take a fair amount of losses now in a row. Even when he throws, do you agree with me on this, Mike? Does he seem more hesitant than ever in previous fights? Like if you look way back, he would commit more. Now it's like almost these knockouts have gotten in his head a little bit.
I think he looks 40, AJ. I think he looks 40. And, getting knocked out by Cody Garbrandt that bad probably was not good for the confidence. But, he got knocked out again by Ricky Simone. Yeah, I'm just I'm thinking we're at the end of the career here. And you guys might hear this in a later fight. Can you think of what older lighter weight fighter I'm talking about? Because when you get in these lighter divisions, 40 is more of a detriment than it is in the heavyweight division. So I think the speed difference, there's a lot of problems he's going to face. I got Henry knockout. What
are we going? What round? We have a specific Mystic Mac?
Dude, he might.
I know I'm asking a Mystic
early,
Mac.
Man.
Early?
I mean, the Garbrandt and the Ricky Simone knockouts were both in the second round, and if you look, I mean, the second round has been a good one for Victor Henry. Victor Henry beat Albert Morales, rear naked choke in the second round. Kanahara, he knocked out in the second round. So it's kind of one guy likes to lose in the second, one guy likes to win in the second. You know what I'm saying? Probably second.
I'm with you. I picked second round knockout, bro. I'm confident on that too. Let's look at the odds real quick because unfortunately, as confident as we are in Henry, the lines reflect that confidence. -435 for Victor Henry. Assunção's at +300. Let's see. If you go Henry, KO, TKO, you're still in the plus money zone, +200. Guys, if you have the option, Victor Henry to win by KO, TKO at +200, I think is a smart idea. As far as Henry to win by KO, TKO, do we round prop it like a psycho? I just want to see what it is. It's +750 if we went for that one.
Okay. So Victor Henry KO is +200.
+200, bro.
blowing my mind, bro.
That Henry pick reminds Ice Viking of Brian Battle. Low key though, I see it like kind of like Brian Battle if he went through like a very like punk rock phase a little bit. I don't know. Look at the eyes of Henry. He looks intense in that shit, man. He's staring at me a bit. He's like staring into your soul, bro.
I guess so. A little Brian Battle. That's what you're seeing. Okay. All right. I mean, they say in the Bible, right? The longer hair gives you strength, right? Isn't that the deal there? Look, I think it's the age. I think the age is the biggest factor here, AJ. One guy's in his prime, one's not. Enough said.
I'm going to say I think it's the long hair, but that's just me, bro.
Fair enough.
Let's keep running up the card. Next matchup, it is Leomana Martinez versus Brandon Davis. It's one of those fights where it's like both guys you've seen clearly lose bouts. So they're kind of scary to, throw significant money down if you're betting. But pick side, I'm going to go Leomana Martinez to beat Brandon Davis. I think we've seen what Brandon Davis is capable of, whereas Mana Martinez is still very young and developing. I think he has a higher ceiling. And low-key, that split decision with Guido Canetti is holding up pretty well because Canetti's doing good work. I mean, he just finished Randy Costa in a minute. I think I'm going to ride with Martinez to win a decision, though. Brandon Davis has been notoriously hard to knock out. I know you look at the Dana Batgeri fight, and then he gets cracked up with, a couple of shots. He's unconscious, but that dude can hit with a lot of power. I think more so clean punching power and boxing skill than Martinez. Martinez more well-rounded with just a kickboxing striking game. So I'm going to ride with Mana to get the win, man. I'm going to pick him over Brandon Davis. What do you think, Mike?
When I first looked at this matchup, I was actually thinking Brandon Davis might put some hands on him. Brandon Davis might get this thing done. And then the more I dug into it, I was listening to interviews. Brandon Davis just got his ACL surgery. So this is his first fight back from having ACL surgery. I'm like, oh, man, when I start hearing shit like that, so what I think is no bet. I'm going to get some popcorn. I'm going to enjoy this shit. I mean, Brandon Davis is an underdog, I kind of like it. I really do. I might as well stick with it, but I could see Mana Martinez out kickboxing him, especially coming off of ACL surgery. If you were thinking about betting Davis, you got to question it, right? So I'll say no bet. How about that?
Fair. Odds for it, my bookie, minus 155. Martinez, the favorite. Brandon Davis is plus 120. Yeah, I don't love the betting side in this one, but this could be a fight that goes long. The over 2.5 is at minus 125. That could be a sneaky little attack there. It's a sweaty one because both guys are good strikers, but I think it might be worth a touch, man. I'm going to ride with Mana Martinez for the win. You obviously be a little bit cautious anything you're betting on this fight that involves this matchup because it is just, I don't know, it's not a weird one, but in a sense, weird things could happen, bro. Strange things are happening. And I think it's possible in this fight.
100%. Brandon Davis is capable, he's very, very capable. So I think he could win this fight by knockout, but he's got 9 losses, 14-9 for a reason, right? He goes to split decision with Giga Chikadze, split decision with one of the best strikers in the world, so I don't doubt Brandon Davis. And that's why I'm picking him. But like I said, somebody's coming fresh off of an ACL surgery, close fight like this. Yeah, I'm betting on different fights.
Listen, Mike Finch, I like the prelim picks. It is time for the main card. Moneyline main card for UFC Vegas 62, brought to you by my bookie. Show some love. Use promo code
Moneyline. You know what it is.
Some bets. Let's go. Throw down some bets on it, man. And let's make some fucking cash this week. I'm feeling good about a lot of these picks, man. Even though me and you are going other ways, it's nothing that I'm like overly concerned of just yet, man. There's some competitive matchups. I think it's going to be a fun card. Smash the likes, guys. And make sure to subscribe if you're new. And let's talk Misha Cirkunov and Alonzo Menifield. Mike Finch, I'm feeling Menifield as one of the more confident picks of the week. How are you feeling about this fight? I know Cirkunov's a vet of the game, but there's some serious concerns I have with him at this point.
So you said we were going other ways, and you weren't nervous about nothing. If I go Cirkunov, you're gonna get nervous. You're gonna get nervous if I do. I'm not.
I didn't think you are. Good.
Menifield should knock him out. Menifield got a nice warm-up fight in his last fight, fighting a guy who nobody knows how many fights he has. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
As to where Menifield, got a nice little exercise out there in that cage. I think it's a nice confidence builder. He's coming in this one, and I think just looking at this matchup, the UFC's kind of investing in him. I think they want to, they want to give him a fight where he can win by knockout. I think he fucking does it, dude. I think he could put him away. Menifield, very dangerous, very explosive, and uses his Muay Thai to get this thing through. Menifield, first round KO.
I like KO a lot, man. And something that nobody talks about. Have you noticed Misha Cirkunov's left arm? Have you seen this thing?
It's like got some type of it's weaker. It's like
atrophy, dude.
Yeah.
But it's like, and if you notice, he uses it a little bit, but it's definitely less functional. He likes to use it real close in the clinch, but he doesn't like to reach with it too much. It's like something's wrong with it. So you're looking at a guy who's kind of coming into the fight with a handicap versus a powerful hitter like Menifield. I think Cirkunov's getting slept too, man.
You know who Nick Newell is, brother? Do you know who Nick fucking Newell is? Do you know who Trey Teligman is? AJ. Come on, give it to me. Do you know Trey Teligman?
I know Nick Newell, man.
He's got one peck. Trey Teligman with one peck. You ever seen him fight? Former UFC heavyweight. Look him up, ladies and gentlemen. Trey Teligman. You could still be a pretty good fighter. But against Alonzo Menifield, who's got dangerous power, you don't want to you want to bring all your eggs. So I feel like if Cirkunov is going to do this, he's got to get a hold of him. He's got to close the distance. I don't think he wants to be in the middle of that cage striking with Menifield. I think when he does, he's going to get clipped up. AJ, we're on the same page here, bro. One of the more confident picks of the card.
I guess with Cirkunov, I didn't notice this earlier in his career. Maybe I was oblivious to it, and I'm just looking in deeper now since I started the channel, but I don't remember Cirkunov having the arm thing. Like, I don't remember it in the fights where he was, doing fairly well at 205 pounds. I don't know. Like, it's weird to see. Like, so I'm thinking this is more of a recent injury that he's been overtaken by that, because we noticed since I realized that he's looked worse. That's all I've noticed, man. Am I blind to, maybe I got to look back at some real old fights and see if that's there, but like, I haven't noticed it, man. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's a good call by you. Nobody else is talking about that. So honestly, I did hear you talk about that in your previous show. So I think with it or without it, though, Menifield's too dangerous for him, AJ. So it's just another reason to go Menifield. I
like it, man. I'm glad that you're confident on Menifield too. I think he's a tremendous pick, and he's minus 215 playable money line. Cirkunov plus 170. The dog will go Menifield by KO. Mike Finch and I both really liking this one. The line for that is plus 125. It's not super wide. It's still plus money, and I think it's a very likely outcome between these two.
100%. One of the more confident picks on the card, boys.
Love it. Let's go. Next fight on the card, Jordan Wright versus Duško Todorovic. Mike, I have a feeling that you're not going to be on my side on this one. But, I think Jordan Wright is live in this matchup, man. I'm picking him to win. Listen, Duško Todorovic does have some good hooks. I know we were talking about it, a bit previously. But Jordan Wright, from range, is pretty nasty with his straights, good body kicks. Listen, yes, I agree. His boxing defense is one of the most subpar in the UFC. I just feel as though Todorovic doesn't have that fight-stopping power necessarily to the level of guys Jordan Wright has previously been stopped by KO. I mean, Chidi Njokuani is a tremendous striker. Even Anthony Hernandez has got some sneaky explosiveness. I'd say he's more explosive than Todorovic on the side. And then what was the previous knockout? There was one more in the mix that I'm missing here. Marc-Andre Barrios choked on Buckley.
Sorry. I'm looking at Todorovic's losses.
Joaquin Buckley too. He KOs him, but Buckley's, I think, more heavy-handed. So I do think Jordan Wright, I don't know. I think Jordan Wright, maybe his chin is a bit better than we think. His chin is better than we think. I think overall he's a bit better than we think, but he's still lacking in areas. I'm not arguing, man. But I like the offense. I'm seeing him compete in some of the grappling situations with Todorovic. Wright's a pretty strong dude. He's tall. And if he can touch up Todorovic, I think he can get a stoppage, man. Especially Chidi, the recent knockout he had over Todorovic. They've been at it. There's been a couple, man. Todorovic has taken some damage through the UFC run. Punahele Soriano touched him up. He goes distance with Gregory Rodriguez, but he ate a lot of shots, and then Chidi knocks him out. Could the wear and tear be a factor? things not too long ago, maybe. I'm going to go Wright for the win by KO.
Shout out to the chat. Kevin L. Basri dropping 20 big ones on us. We appreciate it. Jordan Wright by Imanari roll to heel hook lock. Get the fuck out of here, Kevin. He does not believe that shit for a second. So don't you guys take that seriously. Kevin, you know what I told you today, and that is that Jordan Wright has the worst boxing I have ever seen. And he goes, even better than, some of the women's divisions and this and that. I'm like, off the top of my head, yes. I think that Jordan Wright is the most hittable guy in the division. Yeah. And Todorovic, they actually said it earlier in the chat. They're stealing Josh Saunders. You're stealing my points, bro. I got to give credit to you. Duško knocked out Michel Pereira. Dude, knocked out Michel Pereira. He could throw a hook, AJ. I think, we've seen him look pretty bad in a couple fights and writing him off right away, but I think he's got more to offer than Jordan Wright does. I don't like how Jordan Wright stands up tall. I don't like how his head is as big as a mailbox. I feel like Todorovic is going to put some hands on him. He's going to go hook to the body, hook to the head, and I think Todorovic knocks his ass out. I'm going Duško KO.
Duško for the KO by Mike Finch. Penetrating the hearts of the Jordan Wright believers out here. I mean, you're stabbing us.
Where are the Jordan Wright believers? You're in the. Are you going to call yourself a Jordan Wright believer?
I'm saying right now I am. This could bite me in the ass. I understand. This might look bad later, but you know what I'm saying? We're team Jordan Wright. He's taking pictures with John Jones. I'm telling you, bro. He's high level.
Oh my God. Yeah, when I watch Jordan Wright fight, I'm like, should I fight? Maybe I should be fighting. You know what I'm saying? Not the most talented puncher, and just seems so available to be punched in the face. When I'm looking at his head, just looks like a target. It looks like a bullseye.
Let me read the lines, man. Let me read the lines real quick, Mike. It's minus 215, Duško Todorovic, and then it's Jordan Wright at plus 165. Duško for the win, KO. Mike Finch pick plus 140. Wright for the win by heel hook. The Albasari pick plus 1200. I'll give you Todorovic, Wright to win by KO also is
up. We were bringing him over. Did you guys see that? We're bringing him over.
No. I'm picking Chris for. I'm not switching the picks, but I know switching the picks, but I don't switch these things. Listen, I'm riding with Wright. Listen, if Jordan Wright knocks him out. Mm-hmm. And I do believe it's a possibility. I think people are gonna be like, "Wow!" They're gonna be like, "This guy's got some type of crazy vision, man." With the punch, man, a straight shot, everything in it, all the fucking first round knockout losses, man, all the adversity, all in that one shot, and he KOs Duško. We can say it's maybe, people might even say it's a fluke, man, but he's got that one burst in him, man. The Karate Kid, Jordan Wright.
I will jump into the live chat, okay? And you will be getting full credit, but that ain't going to happen, AJ. That ain't going down. Yeah. Your boy Wright stands upright like he's got to stick up his ass. He might as well be in the Wizard of Oz. He's the fucking scarecrow. And Todorovic is going to walk his ass down and throw looping shots like he always does. Totally available to be punched as well. Don't get me wrong, guys. Duško is definitely not going to be the champion one day. However, he's got enough in the gas to beat Jordan Wright.
So you're very confident Duško wins.
Damn, does it sound like it? I think I sold it more than I am, but I mean, like it's
would you bet a shoey on it? Would you bet a shoey on it?
Oh my God. You realize I am never drinking alcohol out of a fucking shoe. Do you know what a shoe is for, AJ? You put your stinky ass feet in it, all right? You don't pour liquid into the damn shoe. You want to pour liquid into something, it's a bottle, a cup. I don't drink out of shoes. You're going to need a lot more, okay, than this pick to get me to drink out of a shoe.
Yeah. Listen, I'm glad because now you give me confidence, man. You give me confidence in Jordan Wright that he wouldn't. So it's not absolutely impossible.
I see what you're saying. No, I would not risk me drinking alcohol out of a stinky ass shoe for this. No. But whenever somebody says, would you bet your life on it? I go, a life is not to bet. Same response here, AJ. A shoey is not to bet. Fuck that.
Fair, Mike Finch, fair. But listen, I'm taking this. You don't want to risk doing the shoey because Jordan Wright has a fighting shot, guys. Listen, he's got a fighting chance here. Now, as far as likelihood of it, I'm not telling you it's the lock of the week. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, Jordan Wright, maybe his time's coming for some crazy ass upset, and I think this could be the one.
Fair enough. Look, it'll be interesting. I think I have to tune into the live at this point. We've just hyped this fight up too much now.
Yeah.
I mean, and let's be honest, not the greatest fight we've ever seen, right? But we're passionate about it, so you gotta love it.
I'm more excited for this fight than I was earlier in the week. I'm jumping up and down for this matchup, man.
Let's go. Hey, if Jordan Wright hits an Imanari roll to a heel hook, like Kevin Al-Basri said, I'll consider drinking the shoe. I'll consider it.
Yes or no, Mike Finch? If he hits a heel hook in Amari, he'll be doing it.
If he does an Imanari roll, I'm not saying heel hook. If he finishes him by heel hook, I ain't drinking the fucking shoey. If he hits an Imanari roll to a heel hook, I mean, we'll go shoey.
Fair, yeah. Listen, I don't think that happens ever.
Because that shit ain't happening, all right? That's like Rio Tonin, Anderson Silva. How many times has that happened in the sport? You can count on one hand. So I'll make that unreasonable bet.
Let's go. Let's jump to the next fight of the night. Askar Askarov versus Brandon Royval.
Yes.
Brandon Royval is a fun guy to watch. He's one of my favorite guys in the flyweight division. I love the style. I just feel as though Askarov is going to smother him, dude. I feel like he's going to close the distance. And what Royval does, he's extremely explosive, and he's a guy that gets a little bit chaotic. You make that little mistake, you're out of position. Askarov drags you to the floor. I went back and watched the Bontorin fight. You saw him put on his back by Bontorin. Listen, Bontorin's a very strong guy physically. He's pretty jacked for the weight class, and he has good jiu-jitsu. I don't think he's as offensively skilled in, pure wrestling. I'm going Askarov to get a decision, man. I don't think it's going to be the most entertaining. I know Royval is like a damn hot rocket. This dude's got straight explosiveness. He's one of the most fun guys to watch. And on the opposite side, Askarov is not. He's going to grind to a win. I think he probably grinds this one out 30-27. Maybe a big moment, 29-28, but I do think Askarov lands, probably more takedowns, more time in the clinch, controlling, and avoids very significant shots from Royval. So I'm going to go Askarov, man, to get the win.
I told you guys the greatest grappling coach of all time, John Danaher, said there are two styles of grappling. There's one where you move around your opponent to create opportunities. That's really good for athletic people, fast people. And then there's the other style of grappling where you smush them, you inhibit movement, you pin them to the ground, right? You use the ground as a wedge where they can't move. That is the matchup here. You are seeing two completely different styles clashing here. Royval is a freaking balloon that you just cut. It's going to fly all over the fucking room. Who knows where he's going to go? Who knows what he's going to throw? But Askarov, if he can get a hold of him, if he can get in that clinch and get his hands clasped, if he can get a nice little takedown, get on top here, make Royval work, that's how he wins this fight. I gotta say, before we interviewed Askar Askar, I was pretty damn sure that Askarov would win a decision. But hearing Askar tell us, which I think he's being honest, that Royval's not getting held down in the gym, he can't pin Royval down, that's important to me because I have grappled with Askar Askar, and I'll tell you what, he is heavy and controlling on top. So he's a good guy to kind of mimic Askarov. And then you also heard the other tidbit he gave us, AJ, which was the size difference. Askar Askar told us that he thinks Brandon Royval is much bigger than Askar Askarov. Are those names messing you up yet? So I think with those two things combined, he's at least made it so that I'm not going to bet on this fight, right? I was considering placing a little bet on Askar Askarov. I think I'd rather sit on the sidelines and see what Brandon Royval can do. For sure, Brandon Royval is more dangerous on the feet. For sure, he's more of the submission guy. If the fight's going to finish, it's Brandon Royval finishing the fight. What do I think the most likely outcome is? Honestly, I think Askar Askarov is undefeated. I think he beat Kai Kara-France. He should have been the one in there with Brandon Moreno getting that interim title shot. I think he goes ahead and edges out Brandon Royval by sticking to him like some glue, and I think the Russian holds it out, man. I got Askar Askarov decision.
I actually like the betting side, bro. I mean, I like Askar's take. I think that he has some great points. And I do respect the opinion, but I can't go against what I'm seeing, man. I have to ride with Askarov for the win. I'm going to say he does it. Decision, grind heavy, and I'm going to say it's still a very confident pick for me, man. Nothing's going to change. I love Royval. It's a fun style. at the end of the day, if you ask who would I rather see fight for the title, I'm saying Royval, man. He's the fan favorite. But unfortunately, I'm going purely off, the analysis of what I'm seeing. And I think Askarov sticking to him like glue is a good analogy. And I see him winning a decision here.
Inhibit movement. I mean, that's the style clash we see here between these grapplers, because Royval's so fun to watch, man. But you know what you need to be fun like that? You know what you need to throw up all those submission attempts? Space. I don't think Askarov's going to give him that space he needs.
Facts. I'm with you, Mike Finch. As far as the lines, minus 250, Askarov, Royval, plus 190. If you're looking towards the prop side of things, Askarov by decision, plus 145. Do you think that's pretty likely for him winning? Over a round and a half is sitting at, over 2.5 is better. It's at minus 135. Over 1.5 is minus 270. Actually, as low as minus 220, which is kind of crazy to me as I see this fight going long here.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, unless it's Royval. I like Askar telling us about that jab too. Like, if he could just make some shit happen here, what an epic, Royval, by the way, wanted this to be the main event. He campaigned for this to be the main event when Sean Strickland couldn't meet Cannonier. I think he sees this as a big ticket item for him, man. If Royval can get a big finish here, he could be in a title fight. Like, Royval is exciting, fun to watch. I'm always going to tune in to see a Brandon Royval fight. And if there's a finish, AJ, it's Royval.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, absolutely. I agree. It's like the fan side of me is going to say, man, I'd like to see Royval. The pick side, I have to go Askarov. Man, that's just how it is, man. Fuck it. Unfortunate, because I think Royval sells his game well. And I think if he was able to win this fight, he's a contender. And I see fairly, I don't know. I don't want to say great matchups with the best guys in the world. I think Brandon Moreno's a hard fight, but wouldn't it be cool though if he would have fought Davis and Figueiredo? It would have been fun. I would have liked to see it. It is a fun fight.
The type of fights where it's like, if you're gonna bring your buddies out to a fight, are you gonna go to an Askar Askarov fight, or are you gonna want to go to see a Brandon Royval fight? I know where I'm going.
Same. Brandon Royval.
All day.
Fun
fights, man. He's always in a good one. You're always like, he's getting punched. He's in trouble, and he puts the other guy in trouble. It's way more fun. Askar Askarov, you know what he's going to do. He's going to wrestle this guy.
Yeah, he's going to wrestle the guy. Let's get to the co-main, Mike Finch. It is Cub Swanson and Jonathan Martinez. I think I may have gotten the hint on this one here, Mike Finch. I'm picking Cub Swanson to get the win, man. I think that the hands could fly. I like the boxing. He's pretty dangerous still, even, he's not one of the younger guys. But I talked about this throughout the week. I need to see the face-offs, the scales. I need to see how he looks at 135 before fully attacking this line. But I do think Cub Swanson has a legitimate chance to beat Jonathan Martinez. Do I think it's an easy fight? No. I do think Cub Swanson, if I'm going to lean it, I'm still going to pick decision. I know Martinez, people look at the Davey Grant fight and they're like, oh, he might get knocked out here. His chin is historically held up. There's one big shot that lands. Davey Grant does it. I don't know if Swanson could land that same punch that was perfectly placed. And that's a different stylistic matchup. At the end of the day, I think Cub Swanson can find success using boxing here. I will say Martinez's low kicks are a big concern if you're Swanson, because I do think he can chop down the legs of anyone. I'm very interested to see Cub Swanson at 35, doing it at 39. What made me still ride with the pick of Swanson is just looking through his Instagram and seeing how he looked to have a great frame, even dropping to 135. He doesn't look completely depleted, but the weight cut can show us something different. I can look through the IG and he might be weighing 160 pounds and he's going to end up missing weight by 3 pounds. We got no idea. I'm not saying he's missing weight. I hope not. He didn't talk at the media day, which was kind of weird. He had Argueta talk for him. I don't know what that was. All it was cool for Argueta, I guess, but odd. I'll pick Swanson still, but there are some nerves. Mike Finch, take it over, my friend.
I'm seeing something here, and I rewatched Cub Swanson fight Darren Elkins. That was his last fight. Before that, he was getting body kick KO'd in 30 seconds by Giga Chikadze. I just remember it as that. I don't know. Could be wrong, but it was quick, and Giga Chikadze put him away clean. I'm seeing that Cub Swanson really likes to fight with his hands down and is trusting his slips and his head movement to save him. He's up against a kid because you said it, 38 years old for Cub Swanson here. Completely the opposite for his opponent, probably 28 for Brandon Martinez, right?
The ages.
Yeah, go ahead and pull up the ages, because I do think that Jonathan Martinez, why did I call him Brandon?
28.
Jonathan Martinez, he throws great leg kicks. It's going to make Cub think about him. I think he's going to put a head kick up there. I think Jonathan Martinez is going to head kick knock out Cub Swanson. And it's just the way they match up. The having your hands down thing works in boxing. Once I slip outside of your shot, you don't have any other limb out there to hit me, right? If I slip inside of the jab, I eat the 2. We see that in boxing all the time. If I slip outside, I'm good. I'm clean. So Cub gets used to doing that with the hands down. Ask Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman parries the jab, slips outside. A leg can still come up and hit you. I think Jonathan Martinez delivers that leg. I've got him by head kick knockout over the veteran, AJ.
Damn, head kick knockout. It's a ballsy pick, Mike Finch. I like it though, man. I like the confidence. It's a confident pick, man. I'm gonna go with Cub Swanson. I'm gonna ride with him. We got some different opinions in the chat. Let's see. Martinez has had some shitty weight cuts in the past, so I guess people may be worried about that a little bit. Cub Swanson, second round, slip and rip KO. I like that. That slip and rip. That's
I was just talking about the slip, so you got a different ending for it. Slip and then you
headshot bang. I like it. Listen, I'm gonna ride against you on Cub in this one. I also really do gotta say I like the plus money. I just want to see Cub on the scales first. He's plus 170. Martinez minus 220. As far as Martinez by KO, Mike Finch, if they had a head kick KO prop, that'd be pretty sick. But I don't know. Very few places have it.
Plus 5,000.
Plus 5,000 something. Plus 275 Martinez for the KO. Swanson on the other side. If you were to go KO, it's plus 500. If you were to go decision, plus 300. I like Cub Swanson more on the money line side at plus 170. That dog money on him here. That's where I'm riding Mike Finch. Great fight, though. I'm excited for it. And I'll definitely be watching for those kicks of Jonathan Martinez, man. And I'll be looking to see if he sets up a high kick.
10 years difference, 28 fighting 38. They're all the way down there at 135. How am I going to bet on a 38-year-old 135er? I'm not. I'm just not. With that being said, Cub Swanson owns a gym down the street from me. It's not good for me to pick against Cub Swanson. It's not good politics. I'm telling you guys what I really think. All respect to the veteran. If you want to check out UFC Gym Costa Mesa, feel free. But I really do think that that this is going to be a turn here in the career of Jonathan Martinez. Here's a big name. Here's the right fight for him. I think the UFC is taking care of him in this fight because he has an opportunity to separate himself from the pack. I bet he delivers. I bet he has the best performance of his career.
Love it. I love it, man. Might be on the other side of it, but I love the confidence for it. Let's ride to the main event of the evening. It is Alexa Grasso and Viviane Araujo. Mike, I guess, what do you think, man? You lean in the Araujo. She's 35, younger girl, Grasso, good boxing game, fights well from range, strong inside of the clinch, unexpectedly strong in the clinch. I think Araujo will be a little bit, maybe even surprised by that clinch strength. What do you like here, Mike Finch?
Araujo is strong, bro. You don't see women get one punch knockouts very often, but that's exactly what she did against Bernardo. What was her last name? Yeah, Talita Bernardo. Viviane Araujo can deliver a shot. She is very dangerous early in the fight. So there's a big risk I'm seeing here for Alexa Grasso early. If this was a 10-minute fight, I think I would go Viviane Araujo. It's not. It's 25 minutes. And if you look at the Caitlin Chikagian fight, when it started getting down and dirty, when they started actually grinding in that second round, you just saw the momentum kind of tilt away from Araujo. Araujo, she's very, very good and explosive, and that shoot the box style she brings. She walks girls down, throws big shots. I think that's dangerous for the first round, but what about 3? What about 4? What about 5? I've got much more confidence in the overall game of Alexa Grasso, and I really think that Alexa Grasso can get this done, man. It'll be a big moment for her in her career. I thought she looked great in her last performance, and there is a risk she runs because she's fighting one of the more explosive girls in the division. I think it's a good fight. I'm going to go with the person who I have more faith over 5 rounds with all day. The cardio advantage, I think, is going to go to Alexa Grasso.
Yeah. I'm riding with Grasso too, man. I think there's a good shot that she gets it done. I'm gonna take her. I'm gonna lean it. I think 5 rounds decision, some clinching, some open boxing in the open, mat. I think Araujo is going to be, like you said, dangerous early when she's, at her prime with the cardio. But as the fight goes on, I see her withering a bit. I could see Grasso taking 3, 4, 5. Like, even if she looks like, like she has a little bit of trouble earlier, I'm going to ride Grasso for the win. I don't know. I don't have the official scorecard at the end. Do you have a Mystic Max scorecard, Mike?
Oh, I think it's a good fight, dude. I think it's a good fight. It could even be 3-2, 4-1 or 3-2 for Grasso. Vivian was knocked out by Andrea Lee. I mean, she was like flash KO'd in that fight, and she came back to beat her up. She's durable. So I don't think Grasso finishes her. I mean, maybe on the ground, but I don't think Grasso finishes her. I think we see all 25 minutes. And let's put the official at 3-2. I think it's a good fight. I just think those last 3 rounds are all going to Grasso, and the tide will really start to turn. 25 minutes is just too long for Vivian style.
Yeah, I feel it, bro. Grasso minus 240, Araujo plus 180, and then we'll say Grasso by a decision. I'll list it off. It's at plus 120. It's not great. Over 4.5 rounds here. It's minus 205. I don't like it. Yeah, it's not the best betting spot, but we like Grasso to win, both of us here. That's the main event, Mike, but we got more. I'm ready for the locks of the night. Mike, the people have probably heard my lock throughout the week, so I want to hear yours first, my brother.
I've got Jonathan Martinez with a head kick knockout. I think he gets this thing done. Look, he's not that far. I mean, it's close odds, right? You're going to get some decent odds on it. Go ahead and take a little sprinkle. Just my opinion. This is not financial advice. Be an adult. Think for yourself. But I do think that Jonathan Martinez gets it done. 28 versus 38. I do think that all of the momentum is going to be here for Mr. Martinez. I got to go with him. Just money line him. Just money line. You don't have to go KO. Don't go crazy. He wins decisions a lot. By the way, I should get that out there for fans who aren't familiar. He wins decisions a lot. So, I mean, it'd be rare for him to get a KO. Just Jonathan Martinez, money line for my lock.
Moneyline Martinez minus 220. I'm going to ride with Askarov lock of the week, and we're going to ride it with minus 250. It's not the best, but I do think he probably wins a decision. So if you're feeling like, just go light on this, though. Go light on this. Plus 145 Askarov decision if you want to, double it up with both of those. Just, don't go too crazy maybe on the decision just because, I do think it's probably going to go distance and win a decision. You're still running on the prop over the money line attack, which I think the money line attack is a very, very high likelihood outcome. We're calling it the lock of the week. Let's talk some parlays.
All the competition that try to compete, stand back, watch the bomb drop.
Now, as far as the parlays, Mike, what is kind of something you're looking at as maybe the best one for you?
Can I give you guys 2?
Let's go. Let's run with it.
All right, 2 parlays. Taking our guy Raphael Esparza's advice, only keeping it to 2 fights. Here's your safe parlay. All right. Here's one that's 90% chance going to cash. Victor Henry and Brito. Go Brito. Go Henry. Just go money line it. It's probably going to land for you. I don't see how that goes wrong. AJ, I know you like to deliver the odds. Brito,
minus 165.
I mean, that's probably going to land, guys. That's probably going to land. If you want to get a little crazier, I think Duško is going to slap the shit out of Jordan Wright. And I think Jacob Malkoun is going to come through as the underdog and beat Team Diaz's Maximov. So I'll take Malkoun and I'll take Todorovic.
Together, or you riding them on top of Brito? Separate.
Together, that's your I'm feeling like spicing the night up, taking a little risk and going for that
savage. Plus 200 for Todorovic and Malkoun together. But if you did end up adding in Brito and Henry, you'd be looking at plus 390 for that
one. For 4 fights.
Yeah, for the big 4. That's a
going against our MyBookie insiders advice. Just know that. Although I gotta say, shout out to my buddy Stone Dax, who landed like a 12-fight parlay once and won a couple grand. It happens.
No, it definitely is possible, man. I love where you went with Victor Henry, Joanderson, Brito. I think if you add Askarov in, not a bad idea. Plus 125, more on the safe side. But I do think it's one that could come through. You want to add a little more heat to it. Menifield plus 230.
Menifield's interesting.
I think that's possible. And then if you were like, I don't know, if you just wanted to really attack on the side of just strong favorites, I guess you could go. I just don't know if it's the right move for the parlay, man. This, like, you go Pete Rodriguez in the beginning, but I hate adding guys over that minus 500. It's plus 280 for it. Not the best lines. I got the Hail Mary prop, or excuse me, the Hail Mary play on this week's Best MMA Bet. So definitely check that one out if you haven't seen it, because it got up to like plus 6,000 something with that. We start going nuts on those parlays, man. But keep it on the safer side. Be conservative. It's a smart way to do it.
Right. I mean, I'll probably play both. I don't know. I'll let you guys know in the live. I'll see AJ for the live. So we'll we'll have to touch base then, but I think I'll probably play both, get a little sprinkle. Not the easiest card to bet, but there are some pretty good ones on here, and that's what I'm thinking, boys. And by the way, the Menifield one, that's a nice addition. I could see that ending up in one of my parlays too.
I like it, man. Parlays, I think I'm gonna ride with some confident ones. Mike Finch, it's been a blast to chat it up. People, if you haven't, smash the like button. Let's run these likes up. If you're new, subscribe. It's UFC Vegas 62. We haven't had a heat card in a minute, but next week we're coming at you with UFC 280. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be an incredible show. If you're looking to play some bets, MyBookie, promo code
Moneyline.
Go. Mike Finch, plug yourself. Tell them where to find you, Mike Finch.
I just dropped the Johnny Eblen, Yoel Romero video. I got Yoel barking. I got Johnny Eblen's response. We got the whole deal. The video before that, Johnny Eblen in the Bellator cage talking about, I almost didn't believe in myself to King Mo. King Mo said, fuck that. And he's right. King Mo's right. So I'm going to keep it coming. I've got, I got a couple things I got to drop still. Like, for instance, Beneil Dariush, I got some content I haven't dropped. I got a couple things. So appreciate you guys coming by Mike Finch Show, youtube.com/Mike Finch, Mike Finch MMA everywhere else. We appreciate you guys keeping it here every Thursday for Moneyline. We're going to keep it coming. I am damn excited for the card next week. So hopefully, Grasso, she delivers for us. We get a nice fight here with Askarov and Royval to warm us up. But the main course is definitely UFC 280. Excited, man.
Let's eat, bro. Let's eat. UFC 280 coming. Much love, Mike Finch. I'll see you soon, brother. Much love, my people. I'll see you all tomorrow with the weigh-in recap show. Peace, everyone. Have a great night.